Football, with such strong skills, even nightclubs can produce football kings. Welcome back, brave explorers of impossible worlds. We are excited to have you here to continue this odyssey together. Before we continue, everything you'll hear is pure fiction, so please don't try to replicate combat techniques at home. This wonderful story in all its rights belong to its brilliant original author. We are only the messengers of entertainment. Want another dose of adventure? Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single chapter, and if you can't wait, our Patreon has exclusive surprises you'll love. Chapter 176. The first home court. Face the defending champion, after the game between Arsenal and Watford, in distant China. China's largest sports forum, Dinkyu.com, also reported the game as soon as possible. Arsenal defeated Watford away from home and successfully won their first win of the season. Feng was on standby and didn't get a chance to play. Water fountain manager Feng did not get a chance to play in his first Premier League game. A large number of fans also poured into the comment area of Dinkyu.com. No, I really don't understand why Wenger didn't let Feng come on. That's right. Feng didn't come on the field during garbage time in the second half of the game. What on earth did Wenger mean? I believe that as long as Wenger doesn't let Feng come on the field, if Wenger gives Feng a chance, Feng will definitely help the team score goals. It's really inappropriate. No matter what, Wenger should give Feng a chance, although this game Arsenal won, but to be honest, Arsenal's offense is too monotonous. Once they encounter a strong team, they are likely to lose. In fact, in the current Arsenal lineup, there are strong soldiers and horses, but Feng does not. It's normal to have a chance to play. Hey, if I were Coach Wenger, I would definitely let Feng play. Arsenal is indeed a Premier League club. The strength of this team is indeed quite strong. Defeating Watford is almost effortless. If nothing else happens, Arsenal will definitely be able to achieve a good ranking in the Champions League and the league this season, said their post-match press conference. Arsenal head coach Arsene Wenger also talked about the reason why Feng did not appear. Feng is the last piece of the puzzle in our team. Although he did not appear, it is not surprising that he will not get a chance. I believe that in the near future, Feng will have the opportunity to represent Arsenal. At this moment inside the Arsenal dressing room, Ramsey is still very upset about Feng not getting a chance to play. To know now, Ramsey and Feng have become good friends who talk about everything. At the same time, Ramsey also has a clear understanding of Feng's personal abilities. In Ramsey's opinion, Feng has enough ability to make his debut. Even Feng's appearance will be of great help to the entire Arsenal offense. Of course, after all, Ramsey did not dare to speak directly to Wenger, but chose a compromise approach. He informed the team's assistant coach Bold of his thoughts. Hopefully Bold can pass this on to Wenger. The next day Arsenal are training as usual. In the next game, Arsenal will face the strong Leicester City. It is worth mentioning that Leicester City were the Premier League champions last season. This team, under the leadership of head coach Ranieri, successfully completed a dark horse miracle. Although this game will be played at Arsenal's home court, but let's be honest, this is a huge test for Arsenal's players. Head coach Arsene Wenger was also frantically watching Leicester City game videos during this period, trying to study tactics to deal with Leicester City this day after training. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. Arsenal's assistant coach Bold also came to Wenger's office specially. Coach Wenger, the locker room currently has a lot of opinions on your substitution in the last game. Many players think that Feng can come on as a substitute. Of course, there are also players like the dead midfielder. They think Feng is not capable of playing yet, and they even think that Feng is not qualified to sit on the bench. These two different voices have become more and more intense. What should we do? Coach Wenger asked Boulder. He waved his hand to indicate that he should stop talking. For the current coach Wenger, his biggest headache is how to limit Leicester City's offense. While Wenger was concentrating on arranging tactics, he didn't want others to disturb him. In Wenger's view, the biggest question before him is how to deal with Leicester City. As for Feng's problem, Wenger didn't care. Soon time flies by, and the time for the competition has arrived. On August 21st, Arsenal faces Leicester City at home. Before the game started, a large number of Arsenal fans were also full of expectations. In their view, Arsenal can already beat the defending champion and win 2 consecutive games. Of course, Fox City fans also firmly believe that Leicester City will win. In England's Sport Forum, fans of the two teams started a fierce war of words. This will be Arsenal's first home game of the new season. I believe that Arsenal's players will defend the honor of their home court. Victory always belongs to Arsenal. No team can beat it at the Emirates Stadium. Leicester City won the Premier League title last season only because of luck. This season, Arsenal will terrorize Leicester City. We will win. Just wait and see. Let's go. Arsenal fans are really inexplicably confident. Leicester City will continue to perform miracles. Our striker Vardy will score Arsenal's goal. Fans from both sides were in the game. The previous discussion was quite positive at the pre-match press conference. Coach Wenger is equally confident about this game. Every Arsenal player is ready. I believe that Arsenal players will win at home. Leicester City is indeed a strong team. They played well last season. It was an unparalleled performance. But what I want to say is that this is already a thing of the past. Arsenal will beat their opponents at the Emirates Stadium. Faced with the heroic words of Coach Wenger, Leicester City coach Claudio Ranieri also seemed extremely confident when being interviewed by reporters before the game. Arsenal's home court is not easy to play, but this does not mean that we will give up the game. Leicester City has only one goal this season, and that is to defend the championship. Last season, Leicester City when we finished first in the Premier League, while Arsenal finished second. We once defeated Arsenal in the Premier League title race, so I believe that tomorrow night, Leicester City's players can also defeat their opponents. The next day 8 p.m. the stands at the Emirates Stadium were already packed and the crowd was buzzing. This is Arsenal's first home game in the new season, which naturally attracts a large number of fans to watch the game. Sky Sports reporters then interviewed several Arsenal fans, and they were all confident about this game. Chapter 177. Arsenal scores the opening goal, leading 15 minutes before the game starts. Arsenal and Leicester City have announced their starting lineups to the great disappointment of the Chinese fans. Su Feng was once again missed from the starting lineup. Su Feng was on the bench again. The reason why Coach Wenger chose to substitute Su Feng was largely because Coach Wenger did not think that Su Feng could score in this game last season. The reason why Leicester City was able to win the Premier League championship was largely due to Leicester City's steely defense. They have conceded the fewest goals in the entire Premier League, so, to be on the safe side, Coach Wenger did not start Su Feng. Understand the net. Arsenal versus Leicester City starts out. China forward Su Feng appears on the substitute list again. In the comment area of this news, a large number of Chinese fans also began to express their disappointment. Why? Why not let Su Feng play? No, Wenger is old and confused. Brothers, don't panic. Arsenal's striker lineup tonight is Sanchez. Do you really think Su Feng is stronger? Is it better than Sanchez? Gold always shines. I believe Su Feng will definitely get a chance to play. Leicester City is not a weak team, and Su Feng's physical confrontation is relatively average, so Su Feng is not allowed to play. Maybe it's to protect Su Feng. At the same time, in the home team's locker room, when assistant coach Bold announced Arsenal's starting lineup tonight, the dead midfielder deliberately got in front of Su Feng, and then coldly mocked Trash should stay on the bench. Just wait and see how I can help the team win. You will never get a chance to play. After saying these words to Su Feng, the dead midfielder walked towards the player tunnel. Su Feng just sneered at the dead man's mockery. He didn't feel any anger, it just feels childish. 8:30 p.m. Under the leadership of the referee team, the starting players of the two teams have entered the Emirates Stadium from the player tunnel. The moment the players come on the field, there was a huge cheer from the entire Emirates Stadium stands. Ah! Arsenal! Arsenal! Ah! Arsenal! Arsenal! At the same time, in distant China, in the live broadcast room of QQ.com, two commentators, Zanjun and He Wei, also began to announce the starting lineups of the two teams. Zanjun shouted into the microphone with his unique voice, "Welcome all fans and friends to watch the second round of the 2016-2017 Premier League. Arsenal is at home at the Emirates Stadium to face last season's defending champion, the super dark horse Leicester City. Next, let me introduce to you the starting lineups of the two teams. The first is the Arsenal side playing at home. The goalkeeper is Sek. The four defenders are Monreal, Koscielny, Holding, Bellerin. Three midfielders Xhaka, Ramsey, dead midfielder. Three forwards Oxlade-Chamberlain, Sanchez and Welbeck. It's worth mentioning, unfortunately, the Chinese player Su Feng, who just transferred to Arsenal from the German second division team Paderborn this summer, did not get a chance to start, but sat on the bench on standby. At this time, He Wei took the lead. Step by step, he said, "I also hope to see Su Feng play tonight." Zanjun continued to announce the starting lineup for the away game at Leicester City. The goalkeeper is Schmeichel. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. The four defenders are Danny Simpson, Morgan, Huff, Fuchs. The four midfielders Mahrez, Drinkwater, Mendy, Abel Leighton. Two forwards Shinji Okazaki, Vardy, After Zhang Jun announced the starting lineups of the two teams, the battle between Arsenal and Leicester City was about to begin. After the game starts, Arsenal's players are still in relatively good shape. The players relied on their home court advantage and began to attack the opponent's goal crazily in the stands at Emirates Stadium. Arsenal fans are also extremely excited. They were shouting the players' names one after another, and they were looking forward to seeing a goal in the first half. This is despite Leicester City winning the league title last season, but due to the exodus of a large number of core players this summer. Especially midfielder Kant to join Chelsea, the defensive strength of the entire Leicester City midfield has been greatly weakened, and head coach Ranieri chose to send out 4 midfielders in tonight's game, hoping to use the numerical advantage to intercept Arsenal's attack as much as possible. But sadly, Arsenal's offense is still quite sharp. The 8th minute of the game, Leicester City's midfielder made a passing error. Number 6 player Drinkwater actually lost the ball under the double interception of 2 Arsenal players, Xhaka and Ramsey. Lost the ball in midfield. This will be a huge test for the entire Leicester City midfield defense soon. The football came to Ramsey's feet the moment Ramsey received the ball. Multiple Arsenal forwards accelerated at the same time. Ramsey glanced at the location of the penalty area. It was discovered that Arsenal star Sanchez was already surrounded by 2 Leicester City defensive players interfering, while Chamberlain on the other side was also constantly being marked by defensive players. On the contrary, there were no Leicester City defensive players interfering around Welbeck on the right, although Welbeck and Feng have a normal relationship. But Ramsey wanted Arsenal to win, and at this moment, he finally decided to ignore the past grudges between the Lightning and Flint. Ramsey quickly made a pass, bang, after a wonderful through ball. The ball quickly appeared at Welbeck's feet. It is undeniable that Ramsey's passing level is almost comparable to that of a dead midfielder within the restricted area. After Welbeck received the ball, he got the chance to shoot directly at this moment. A large number of Leicester City defensive players have already focused their attention on Sanchez and Chamberlain. There are no extra players in the Leicester City penalty area to mark Welbeck just like that. Welbeck got a great chance to shoot. Tian, with a powerful volley, the football flew directly into the goal from Schmeichel's right side. The score was rewritten 1-0. Arsenal, playing at home, scored first. At this moment, the entire Emirates Stadium instantly transformed into a sea of excitement. Tens of thousands of Arsenal fans shouted the team name at the same time. Arsenal! Arsenal! Chapter 178. Wenger panicked after his opponent scored 2 goals in a row, just when all Arsenal fans thought that the suspense of this game would be completely lost. The accident happened. Leicester City's players did not give up on the game. Instead, they started to show their true strength as the defending champions. Courtside coach Ranieri has been constantly directing his players to attack tonight. Leicester City came to the Emirates Stadium with only one purpose, and that is to win. When Arsenal scored the first goal, it meant to Arsenal that there was not much time left for them. We must attack aggressively in the coming time. Ever since, under the constant shouts of head coach Ranieri, Leicester City players began to frequently threaten the opponent's goal on the right side. Mahrez receives the ball. Mahrez is also nicknamed the Polo King by fans. This player's breakthrough ability on the wing can be said to be quite sharp. As long as Mahrez rushes up with the ball, to be honest, there are not many players who can easily stop Mahrez's progress. This time is no exception. When Mahrez received the football, he didn't hesitate at all, and suddenly made a sudden move with his right foot. Then, faced with the interference of Arsenal fullback Monreal, he made a passing move on a bicycle. In a short period of time, in an instant, Mahrez suddenly hit his right foot, easily passing Arsenal's defensive players. Mahrez accelerated a second time in the next second and successfully reached near the opponent's baseline. At this moment there is only one choice before Mahrez, and that is to pass the ball. Mahrez decisively swept the football under his feet in front of the goal. Vardy arrives. As the hero of Leicester City's championship last season, Vardy once again continued his excellent scoring feeling last season this season in front of the door. In order to grab this spot, Vardy simply threw his body directly. At this moment, neither Arsenal's 2 central defenders, Koscielny and Holding, were able to interfere. I could only watch helplessly as Mahrez completed the shot. The football flew into the goal from Sek's right side at high speed. Tian. The score was rewritten again, 1-1. Arsenal and Leicester City are back on the same starting line again at the same time. Tens of thousands of Arsenal fans in the entire Emirates Stadium stands fell silent at this moment. No doubt this is not the result Arsenal fans wanted to see. Leicester City equalized the score. The player who scored the goal was Vardy. This time Arsenal's wing defense completely lost its position, allowing Mahrez to complete the pass so easily. This is really inappropriate. Got it, Commentator Hui said helplessly. Zonjun also quickly said to the microphone Leicester City was the Premier League champion last season after all. This team is still very strong. Arsenal must concentrate if they want to win the game. At this moment, in the live broadcast room of Kingqiu.com, a large number of Chinese fans also began to shout Su Feng's name. What are you waiting for? Let Su Feng come on quickly. That's right. We want to watch Su Feng play. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. Coach Wenger, don't hesitate anymore. Make a substitution quickly, Arsenal's bench said. Wenger kept pacing back and forth. To be honest, Wenger had begun to panic. He never expected that Leicester City's offense would be so sharp. This undoubtedly completely disrupted Coach Wenger's tactical deployment. However, considering that the game had just progressed to about the 30th minute of the first half, Coach Wenger did not intend to make substitutions. He hopes to observe the direction of the game. After the restart, Leicester City's players finally found the feeling of the game. They took advantage of the morale they had just scored and began to bombard Arsenal's goal in the following time. 10 minutes later, Leicester City's indiscriminate bombing finally had an effect in midfield. It was still Mahrez who received the ball, of course, after 40 minutes of the game. Every Arsenal player also has a clear understanding of Mahrez's personal abilities. Arsenal's players didn't hesitate at all. Right away, he immediately rushed in front of Mahrez. It directly formed an encirclement on Mahrez. Xhaka and Ramsey in the midfield were very active in defensive attention and did not give their opponents any chance at all, and at this critical moment Mahrez chose to pass the ball. This was a correct choice. In an instant, the football appeared perfectly at the feet of striker Shinji Okazaki. Shinji still has a clear understanding of his personal abilities. In his opinion, it is almost impossible to break through Arsenal's steel defense at his current level. Ever since the moment Shinji Okazaki received the pass from Mahrez, he decisively knocked the football to the unguarded Vardy. At the penalty spot, Vardy faced Shinji Okazaki's pass and shot decisively. The football was like a cannonball, flying into the blind spot of the goal. This is Vardy's strength. This powerful volley gave Arsenal goalkeeper Sek no time to react. At this moment, Sek could only watch the football fly into the goal. 2-1, the situation Arsenal fans least wanted to see happened. Leicester City, playing away from home, took the lead at the Emirates Stadium the moment Vardy scored his second goal of the game. The entire Emirates Stadium fell silent. No one could have imagined that Leicester City could actually complete the reversal. Inside the live broadcast room of Kingqiu.com, two commentators, Hui and Zonjun, also exclaimed in great amazement, Vardy scored twice. Beautiful goal. Leicester City, playing away from home, completed the lead. At this moment, the pressure is on when it comes to the Arsenal players playing at home. Coach Wenger must make some changes. Hui also said yes, Arsenal's offense did not show the impact it should have during this period. Maybe changing the forward is a better way. At this moment, Arsenal's coaching bench Coach Wenger looked helpless during this period. Although Arsenal's defense had certain problems, the main reason was on the offensive end. A dead midfielder performed like a disaster during this period. Chapter 179. I'm finally waiting for you. Su Feng comes on as a substitute. The dead midfielder did not retreat to the midfield, but frequently penetrated forward. This made Arsenal's midfield always lacking people. You must know that the characteristic of the dead midfielder is actually passing the ball. When he frequently pushes forward, he naturally cannot show his passing skills. The reason why Leicester City was able to score just now was because the Leicester City defenders stole the ball from the feet of the dead midfielder. Only then did he get the chance to fight back. There's only one reason why the dead midfielder frequently chose to push forward in tonight's game. He is eager to score goals. He hoped to use a beautiful goal to mock Su Feng, who was sitting on the bench, but it's a pity instead of scoring a goal, the dead midfielder paralyzed the entire Arsenal offense. At the same time, he was unable to help the team on the defensive end. Soon, the game came to the last 5 minutes of the first half. For the current Arsenal players, they have no way out. The only thing left in front of Arsenal is offense. Courtside, the Arsenal head coach kept calling the names of the Arsenal players on the field, asking them to cheer up as much as possible and face the game in their best condition. Undeniable, the personal abilities of Arsenal's players are quite strong. At least, after conceding 2 goals in a row, Arsenal players gradually realized the seriousness of the problem. Ever since in the last 5 minutes, Arsenal players began a crazy counter-attack in midfield. This time, after Ramsey received Xhaka's pass, he did not hesitate and made a decision immediately. Bang! He decisively made a passing motion. A moment of effort. The football was like a shooting star. Flying perfectly into the opponent's penalty area, it landed at the feet of striker Sanchez with great precision. It has to be said that Ramsey's passing level is almost the same as that of a dead midfielder in the restricted area after Sanchez successfully removed the football with his right foot. Make a prompt decision. After taking a glance at the opponent's goal, he directly raised his foot and shot angrily. Although Sanchez's shooting action is very beautiful, it has to be said that Leicester City currently has too many defensive players. At the moment Sanchez took a shot, many Leicester City defensive players rushed in front of Sanchez at very fast speeds. Like hungry wolves pouncing on food, completed the interception abruptly in the end. This time Sanchez's attack was ruthlessly blocked by Leicester City centre-back Morgan. After the referee blew the whistle to end the first half, Arsenal, playing at home, took the lead in scoring, but was beaten twice by their opponents. The score remained at 1-2 back to half-time. Coach Wenger was very angry. He almost without hesitation withdrew the dead midfielder and let Cazorla come on. 15 minutes later in the second half, the team changed sides and fought again. It is undeniable that Coach Wenger's substitutions and adjustments have brought huge help to the team's offensive end. After Cazorla came on the field, his position was actually more like a player in the back of the midfield, that is, he appeared in the midfielder position. Ramsey, who performed well in the first half, was placed in the attacking midfielder position. 50 minutes of the game, Arsenal, playing at home, finally found an excellent shooting opportunity under the cheers of the fans at the top of the penalty area. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. When Ramsey received Cazorla's pass, he almost did not hesitate. Suddenly, under the interference of Leicester City players, he successfully made a through pass, a pass like a scalpel. The football tore Leicester City's midfield defense apart in an instant, and the next second, the football appeared perfectly at the feet of right-back Welbeck. Before the start of the first half, it was Welbeck who received Ramsey's pass and scored, helping Arsenal score the first goal. This time the two players are connected again, right side of the penalty area. When Welbeck received the football, he didn't have time to make any adjustments, but instead shot the ball furiously. Welbeck wanted to make a time difference, but although Welbeck's shot successfully hit the goal, Leicester City goalkeeper Schmeichel showed an incomprehensible reaction ability. He actually managed to save his opponent's shot with his own hands. Welbeck missed a great scoring opportunity. 5 minutes later, Arsenal began to make a fuss on the wing after winger Chamberlain received the football on the left. He originally wanted to use his absolute speed to complete the breakthrough, but Leicester City's defensive players did not have any chance for Chamberlain to break through. Finally, Chamberlain eventually lost the ball due to interference from multiple defensive players in the second half of the game, which lasted about 10 minutes. Arsenal's offense was thundering but not raining, and it was completely unable to create any substantial threat to the opponent's goal. On the sidelines, Arsenal head coach Arsene Wenger was pacing back and forth, thinking about tactics crazily in his mind, and just then Wenger's assistant coach Bold suddenly appeared next to Wenger. He saw Wenger's concerns, so he reminded Wenger, "Coach, now our team's offense has reached a bottleneck, and we should need to send new troops on the stage. I personally think Feng will be a good choice." Wenger suddenly woke up from a dream. He turned around and glanced at Feng on the bench, and quickly made a gesture towards Feng. "Wind. Warm up quickly. You will appear in 5 minutes." Coach Wenger almost forgot this trump card. 5 minutes. Arsenal made substitutions. Feng came on the scene to replace Welbeck inside the live broadcast room of Kinkyu.com. The two commentators Zhang Jun and He Wei were naturally extremely excited when they saw this scene. Feng is finally going to make his debut. At the 60th minute of the game, the young Chinese player Feng got a chance to make his debut. He still has 30 minutes to prove his strength. I hope Feng can play tonight, have a good performance in the game. On the barrage in the live broadcast room, the Chinese fans also exploded instantly. "I finally waited for you. Fortunately, I didn't give up. Feng is finally here. Arsenal will definitely win the game." Leicester City, feel the terror of the Eastern Dragon. Take a group photo as a souvenir. Come on, Feng, you must help Arsenal win. How many years have passed? Finally, another Chinese player is standing on the stage of the Premier League. Let Leicester City people feel what it means to be the top scorer in the Bundesliga division. On the court, Feng appeared in the forward position. 1 minute later, Feng got an excellent opportunity when he touched the ball for the first time. Chapter 180. Volley shot. Premier League debut, in the stands at Emirates Stadium. In fact, most Arsenal fans are not confident in Feng. Why did Coach Wenger send an Asian to the stage? No. Is Wenger too old to be confused? Who is the Feng? Why haven't I heard of him? You are fake fans. Well, This is the striker that the team spent a lot of money to introduce from Paderborn in the Bundesliga this summer. Don't underestimate this Asian. He is the top scorer in the Bundesliga, scoring 55 goals in a single season. While Arsenal fans were talking, Feng got an excellent opportunity at the front of the penalty area. This is a pass from Ramsey. Since Leicester City's defensive players did not understand Feng's personal abilities, when Feng received the football at the top of the penalty area, no Leicester City player immediately interfered with Feng. After Feng took a look at the position of the Leicester City goalkeeper, he made a quick decision and immediately kicked towards the opponent's goal. Bang! The football actually hit the goal post. Bad luck. In the live broadcast room of Kinkyu.com, Zhang Jun also sighed with some regret. This shot can be said to be powerful and heavy. The only pity is that I was so unlucky, but it is enough to see from this shot that Feng the shooting feeling is quite good. On the barrage in the live broadcast room, although Feng did not score a goal with his first shot, it still aroused extensive discussion among a large number of Chinese fans. Damn! This goal is really wonderful. As expected of Feng, this shot is really powerful. It's almost luck. Otherwise, I would have scored. It's just a hair's breadth away from scoring. Su Luo was so threatening with his first shot. I really can't believe his performance after playing for 90 minutes, Wenger said Feng this morning. Maybe Arsenal would have won the game already. The game continued. It has to be said that Feng's shot just now was a shock, and it directly attracted the attention of the Leicester City players. In the following time, Leicester City head coach Ranieri also quickly called on his defensive players to interfere with Feng. But Feng is Feng. After all, he has been holding his breath and wants to prove his strength in the Premier League. So in the next time Feng was very active. However, the so-called activeness only refers to activities within the restricted area. Feng continued his walking style in the Bundesliga too. Even if the opponent's defender passes the ball in front of him, Feng will never press him, but will wait for the opportunity. After seeing this scene, the Leicester City fans in the away stands couldn't help but start laughing. Does that Asian think he is Messi? He is walking on the pitch. Arsenal spent €35 million to introduce an old man. This player seems to be only 18 years old, and he comes on as a substitute. Not actively grabbing the ball? It's really unbelievable. Those who don't know better think that this Asian is the star of Arsenal. Sanchez runs more actively than this Asian. Not long after, Feng got his second great scoring opportunity of the game. Feng slapped Leicester City fans in the face with his actual actions. He made Leicester City fans understand that you can score goals with a walk. Now on the wing, Arsenal's winger Chamberlain received Ramsey's pass. The latter ran a long distance and soon brought the ball to the bottom line. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. At this time, Chamberlain actually had no choice. He could only make a pass considering that Sanchez was relatively short in the penalty area and the player was not good at heading the ball. Chamberlain chose to pass the football to Feng, who was ambushing in the back. Bang! A long ball was passed, and in an instant, the football drew a beautiful arc from the top of Leicester City's penalty area. After football is firmly behind, at this moment, the focus of most of Leicester City's defensive players is actually still on Sanchez. Leaving Feng in the back position, this is not the right choice. For a moment the football landed perfectly in front of Feng. He did not choose to stop the ball and adjust, but chose to volley. Tian. The football was like a bolt of lightning, quickly tearing apart Leicester City's goal, perfectly sliding past goalkeeper Schmeichel's right hand, and heading straight for the goal. 2-2. The two sides are back on the same starting line again. Feng. Goal. It's a goal. Classic Feng volley shot. At this moment, Leicester City's defense made a huge mistake. Any Leicester City defensive player should mark Feng. Giving Feng such an easy shooting space is undoubtedly giving Feng a goal in vain. Yes, although this is Feng's first, this is a Premier League game, but Feng has just shown his shooting ability from the top of the penalty area after his debut. Leicester City players should pay special attention to Feng. Two commentators, Hiwei and Zhang Jun's mood was also extremely excited, and in the live broadcast room of Kinkyu.com, barrage has started flying all over the sky. 666. Let me tell you, Shen can definitely score. This shot is really unsolvable and does not give the defensive players a chance to react. Finally, I can witness Feng's volley in the Premier League. Volleyed. Leicester City's steel defense was finally broken by the Eastern Dragon. You can score goals as soon as you come on the field. Wenger, let Feng become the starter quickly. Emirates Stadium stands superior. Arsenal fans are also extremely excited. This Asian is really strong. He deserves to be the top scorer in the Bundesliga too. He is indeed capable. I haven't seen such a wonderful shot in a long time. He scored a goal in less than 10 minutes after coming on as a substitute. This scoring efficiency is really terrifying. After Su Feng scored the goal, he did not make too many gorgeous celebrations, but at lightning speed, he immediately started from left. A football was picked up in the City goal. It is clear for Su Feng. He wanted to win, not a draw. On the bench, Coach Wenger and his assistant Coach Bold also gave Su Feng warm applause. Wenger even showed a look of relief on his face. I knew that Su Feng must be worth this price. On the visiting team's bench, head coach Ranieri is completely crazy. He scolded the players on the Leicester City defense. Don't sleepwalk anymore. How many times have I said this? Don't let this Asian have a chance to shoot. Are you all deaf? A bunch of rubbish. Chapter 181. Speechless penalty. Hack Arsenal's penalty kick. Although in normal times, Ranieri gives the impression of a gentle old man, but once Leicester City players do not play according to their own tactics, Ranieri will transform into a grumpy old man. After the restart, Arsenal players playing at home began to take the initiative to control the rhythm of the game. Su Feng's goal undoubtedly allowed the Arsenal players to see the dawn of victory, and the morale of the entire Arsenal players was instantly boosted. During this time, Arsenal began to attack Leicester City's goal. Leicester City, who were playing away from home, were unable to cope and could only return to defense with all their staff at the same time. After learning about Su Feng's power, Leicester City's defense players also began to focus on Su Feng during this period, but despite this, Su Feng still got a chance. Su Feng started running. This is a very dangerous signal for Leicester City's defense to get the ball. Su Feng began to take the initiative to retreat to the midfield to respond after his friend Ramsey saw Su Feng return to the midfield. He immediately learned of Su Feng's intentions and immediately knocked the football to Su Feng. This moment many Leicester City midfielders have also appeared around Su Feng. Now Su Feng has become the focus of Leicester City's attention. Don't let this guy have a chance to pass the ball. Grab the ball. Leicester City coach Ranieri shouted at the top of his lungs. At the same time, the two Leicester City midfielders also followed the coach's intentions. He immediately made a pressing move towards Su Feng, but Su Feng did not give these two Leicester City players a chance. The left shoulder is lowered, and then he quickly picks up the ball with his left foot and then reverses the ball again, in an instant. Su Feng successfully stood out from the interference of Drinkwater and Mendy. The next second, Su Feng once again struck the ball with his right foot. Relying on his speed advantage, he successfully entered Leicester City's penalty area. Of course, Leicester City's defensive players are not vegetarians either. In the blink of an eye, two central defenders appeared in front of Su Feng. Neither Morgan nor Huth dared to be careless and immediately launched a close defense towards Su Feng. After Su Feng saw this, the inside of his left foot quickly moved the ball forward. The next second, the football appeared on the inside of his right foot, and then he moved the ball in the opposite direction. This is Iniesta's famous stunt, fried balls, and at this moment, it became Su Feng's trump card. After touching the ball quickly with both feet, Su Feng successfully broke out between Huth and Morgan at lightning speed. To note, although the two central defenders Morgan and Huth are excellent in frontal defense, they also have the same shortcomings. That means the turning speed is too slow, the pursuit speed is too slow. Once Su Feng gets past Huth and Morgan, it is almost impossible for the two central defenders to catch up with Su Feng. As expected, after Su Feng suddenly moved his right foot, he instantly opened a meter of distance between the two Leicester City central defenders. Just when Su Feng was about to prepare to shoot, at the critical moment, Leicester City's full-back Fuchs suddenly rushed towards Su Feng from the side. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. Fuchs did not stop the car. His body directly hit Su Feng hard, and the latter was knocked to the ground by inertia. Although Su Feng is not afraid of physical confrontation in the Bundesliga too, but don't forget, this is the Premier League now. Looking at the 5 major leagues, the level of physical confrontation in the Premier League can be said to be the best, but this time Su Feng fell to the ground. It was no longer a simple physical confrontation, it was completely a foul. After Su Feng stood up, he spread his hands with a helpless expression on his face. At the same time, midfielder Ramsey rushed to the referee immediately and roared loudly, "Hey! This is a foul in the penalty area, you should award a penalty kick," but the referee did not say anything. Instead, he signaled that the game should continue. This directly made Coach Wenger furious. The game has reached the 80th minute. Once a penalty kick is awarded during this period, it is likely to directly kill the suspense of the game, so Wenger naturally wants to fight for this penalty. After seeing that the referee had no expression, Coach Wenger even rushed into the field. This also forced the referee to blow the whistle and suspend the game. This is a penalty. If you are not blind, You must give us a penalty. A Leicester player hit our forward. Wenger roared loudly at the referee, but sadly no matter how Coach Wenger explained to the referee still insisted on making his own penalty even. The referee also showed Coach Wenger a topaz card. Get back to where you should be, otherwise, I will expel you. At this time, the entire Arsenal fans in the Emirates Stadium stands were also extremely angry. They all booed loudly towards the referee. Why does the FA want a blind man to officiate the game? The referee did it on purpose. Anyone with eyesight knows it's a foul. Why not award a penalty? Why? This is Arsenal's home ground. Why? Don't give us a penalty kick. The referee's eyes are definitely blind. At this time, the game was broadcast live on the net. Commentator Hiwei also mocked, to be honest. Fuchs directly knocked down Su Feng without touching the football. This really should be a penalty kick. If this kind of faction is not a penalty kick, I really don't know what foul can lead to a penalty kick. Zhang Jun on the side couldn't help but said if the Premier League implements VAR now, maybe the video referee will remind the referee, but unfortunately, there is no VAR in the Premier League now. In fact, for this Premier League referee, there is only one reason why he did not award a penalty kick, and that is that this is the Premier League. The Premier League has always encouraged players to engage in physical confrontation. Therefore, most Premier League referees' penalties are relatively loose. That's it. After this little episode, the game continues at this time. The game time has quietly reached the 90th minute. That is the last minute of the regular game. Whether it is Leicester City players or Arsenal players, their physical fitness has reached the limit, but Su Feng, who came on as a substitute, still had a lot of gas in his tank. This time Ramsey appeared on the wing. When he saw Su Feng reaching for the ball, he didn't hesitate and immediately sent a long pass. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Chapter 182. Head kick. Arsenal hero. It has to be said that Ramsey is a player with excellent passing skills. The football quickly drew a beautiful arc over Leicester City, and then the football landed perfectly on Su Feng's head. There is no doubt that this is a great header opportunity. Su Feng showed off his jumping ability as much as possible. At this moment Su Feng awakened Klinsmann's header ability, although there are two Leicester City centre-backs interfering around Su Feng. And these two centre-backs are still Huth and Morgan. The physical fitness of these two central defenders is quite explosive. The key is the two Leicester City centre-backs are both about 1.9 meters tall and have very strong frontal defensive capabilities, but nevertheless, Su Feng still grabbed the football from the interference of the two central defenders, and the most important thing is Su Feng completed the header. With Klinsmann's header ability, Su Feng's header was so powerful that it hit the goal like a cannonball. Although, at the moment Su Feng took off, Huth and Morgan also engaged in physical confrontation with Su Feng. But it was a pity that Su Feng did not give these two central defenders any chance. The football quickly moved into Leicester City's goal. At the same time, Leicester City goalkeeper Schmeichel tried his best to interfere, but Su Feng's header was too fast. At this moment, Schmeichel could only watch the ball inside. All I could do was watch the football ruthlessly fly into the goal. The score came to 3-2 in the final stage of the game. Su Feng became the hero of the entire Arsenal. In the stands at Emirates Stadium, tens of thousands of Arsenal fans were extremely excited, shouting Su Feng's name crazily. Ah! Feng! 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 Ah! Feng! 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 The win is our hero. This goal is really wonderful. Winner. Victory belongs to our Arsenal, I said. Feng will make the people of Leicester feel his terror. This is Feng's strength. He is too strong. In the live broadcast room of the net, two commentators members, Hiwei and Zhang Jun, were also extremely excited at this moment, especially Zhang Jun. He shouted into the microphone with his very hoarse voice, "Wonderful header!" In the last minute of the game, Su Feng created a miracle. He scored two top Premier League central defenders in Morgan and Huth. Under interference, he successfully completed a header. At this moment, Su Feng became the savior in the eyes of all Arsenal fans. He came on as a substitute and scored twice to help the team win. Su Feng used his own. He proved his strength. Hiwei couldn't help but sigh. This ball is really beautiful. It can be seen from the slow motion that the two central defenders Huth and Morgan have tried their best to defend, but Su Feng still successfully completed the header despite the interference of these two players. This may be the real strength of the German second division top scorer. In addition to the two Chinese commentators who were extremely excited, the Chinese who watched tonight's game, the fans were equally excited. He really did it. Su Feng. He single-handedly helped Arsenal achieve the lead. He scored twice as a substitute. What kind of script is this? Su Feng is in the Premier League, killing everyone. This is so dreamy. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. The last minute of the game was a decisive victory, and it was our Chinese players. It was really exciting. This is definitely the most exciting game I have seen this season. The entire Emirates Stadium is shouting Su Feng's name. This is really shocking. Where is he? Why didn't he from before stop talking? Su Feng slapped the faces of the fans who looked down on him with his practical actions. Su Feng, who was killing everyone in the Bundesliga too, is finally back. At this moment, on Arsenal's bench is the team's head coach. Wenger is also extremely excited. He waved his fist crazily. Release the pressure in your heart as much as possible. Although Coach Wenger gave the impression that he was unhappy, tonight, when Su Feng scored this header, Wenger also completely let himself go. The same is true for Arsenal assistant coach Bold on the side. He rushed in front of Wenger immediately, and then hugged Wenger immediately, saying with ecstasy on his face, "We are going to win. This kid Su Feng really did not disappoint us. Well done." Compared to the excitement of the Arsenal coach, at this moment, in the Leicester City coaching bench, the face of head coach Ranieri was full of disappointment. He definitely didn't expect that Arsenal would score at the last minute, and the player who scored the goal turned out to be an Asian. This is obviously unacceptable to Leicester City coach Ranieri. Damn it, Arsenal actually scored a goal at the last minute. What the hell are you doing? How many times have I told you, we must limit Su Feng's shots? Are you sleepwalking on the court? Coach Ranieri was very angry and roared crazily at the Leicester City defense players. Actually, this time Ranieri clearly wrongly blamed Leicester City's centre-back, because in the last defense, every Leicester City defender had already done their best, especially at the moment when Su Feng made a header. Leicester City's two central defenders, Morgan and Huff, both completed their corresponding defensive actions. The reason why there was no way to stop Su Feng's goal was entirely because Su Feng's personal ability was too terrifying. Now on the court, every Leicester City defender looked at each other in shock. They couldn't believe what just happened. How could this guy jump so high just now? Is he really a normal human being? Huta said with emotion, and just then Leicester City coach Ranieri kept calling his players, asking them to kick off quickly, and then gave Arsenal a fatal blow. That's right, Leicester City still have the chance to change their destiny. In the last 5 minutes previously, after Su Feng and Fuchs collided and fell to the ground, the referee had a heated exchange of words with Coach Wenger, which delayed a lot of time. Therefore, after the 90-minute game ended, the referee added 5 more minutes at his discretion, and these 5 minutes will be the team's last chance. After the restart, every Leicester City player attacked like crazy towards the opponent's goal, but sadly Leicester City's players are not performing miracles. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183. Wenger begins to change the formation. Go to Ramsey's house. After the referee blew the full-time whistle, the score was finally fixed at 3-2. In the first home game of the new season, Arsenal relied on Su Feng's 2 goals and a last-minute header to successfully help the team win. Now the entire Emirates Stadium stands were shouting Su Feng's name crazily. Ah! Feng! 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 Ah! Feng! 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 Obviously, after tonight's game, every Arsenal fan has changed their view of Su Feng. The moment the referee blew the whistle, Ramsey immediately ran to Su Feng, and then the two hugged each other. "Feng, your performance tonight is really outstanding, especially the header at the end. To be honest, I didn't expect you to complete the header without the interference of 2 Leicester City defenders." After that, Lamuse also gave Su Feng another thumbs up, and just then Leicester City goalkeeper Schmeichel also came to Su Feng and pointed to Su Feng's jersey and said, "Hello, Feng. Congratulations on helping Arsenal win. Your performance was perfect today. Can I exchange jerseys with you?" Of course, Su Feng didn't expect that the opponent's goalkeeper would exchange jerseys with him, which made Su Feng a little unbelievable. Subsequently, the Arsenal players came to the sidelines to say goodbye. At this time, the cheers of the Arsenal fans began to become more enthusiastic, and all the fans were shouting Su Feng's name hysterically. Apparently, after tonight's game, Arsenal fans have been completely impressed by Su Feng's personal ability. Su Feng's performance was also quite profound, constantly greeting the Arsenal fans in the stands. This actually made the small group of Deadman's front midfielders a little embarrassed. The dead midfielder's face was quite solemn. Although Arsenal won the victory, the dead midfielder was not happy at all. After all, The game-winning goal was scored by Su Feng. The dead midfielder couldn't believe that the Asian in front of him could be so powerful. At the post-match press conference when Coach Wenger was interviewed by reporters, he also praised Su Feng's performance. Tonight's game is destined to belong to Su Feng. He used his personal ability to help the team create miracles. Su Feng's last header changed everything. Although Leicester City's defense did his best, but it's a pity that Su Feng's performance tonight was too perfect. The most important thing is that Su Feng is only 18 years old, and his future is limitless, a large number of media reported after the game. Su Feng's performance: the 18-year-old Chinese youngster becomes a hero of Arsenal, scored twice to help the team defeat defending champion Leicester City. This is Su Feng's night. In the 90th minute, he scored a header and successfully defeated Leicester City. Arsenal has won 2 consecutive games. Su Feng came off the bench to become a surprise player. He became the key to Arsenal's victory. The top scorer in Bundesliga 2 is killing everyone in the Premier League. The Asian Dragon is unstoppable. In the Arsenal dressing room after Coach Wenger finished attending the press conference, he returned to the locker room after Wenger saw Su Feng. His face was full of relief. It is undeniable that Coach Wenger was quite satisfied with Su Feng's performance tonight. Feng, well done. Thanks to you, Arsenal were able to score 3 points. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. I hope you can continue your efforts and maintain your form. I believe you will become the cornerstone of Arsenal's future team building. After hearing Wenger's words after saying this, other Arsenal players in the locker room also applauded Su Feng for Wenger. He has never doubted Su Feng's ability. After all, if he had doubted Su Feng's strength, Coach Wenger would never have spent a whopping €35 million to introduce Su Feng from a German second-division club. But Coach Wenger always believed that Su Feng could not adapt to the pace of the Premier League. You must know that the Premier League is the league that likes physical confrontation the most among the 5 major leagues, and the most important thing is that Su Feng is only 18 years old. Wenger was afraid that Su Feng would be injured if he allowed him to play too early, so Coach Wenger has been protecting Su Feng during this period. Unexpectedly, after letting Su Feng appear on the stage once in a while tonight, he was able to burst out with such terrifying strength. Now Coach Wenger must rethink Arsenal's current starting lineup when the Arsenal vs Leicester City game ends. Arsenal players also have about 3 days of rest next. Arsenal is about to enter a dense schedule, and these 3 days of rest are still very important for Arsenal players. During these 3 days, Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger has never been idle. He began to rethink Arsenal's current lineup with assistant coach Bold. After all, Coach Wenger did not choose to let Su Feng into the team's starting lineup at the beginning, but because of Arsenal's performance against Leicester City, Su Feng's performance was really amazing. A considerable number of Arsenal fans have even begun to madly request Wenger to put Su Feng into the starting lineup in the comment area of the team's official Twitter. Of course, this is exactly what Coach Wenger himself means. Boulder and Wenger are preparing to formulate a total of 3 lineups, ready to be tested in the next game. During the 3 days of vacation, Ramsey considered that Su Feng was too bored at home alone, so he strongly invited Su Feng to his home. At first, Su Feng didn't want to be a guest. He wanted to smoke and play games in the player's apartment to improve his attributes, but he really can't stand Ramsey's insistence. Finally, Su Feng agreed to Ramsey's invitation, but what Su Feng didn't expect was that Ramsey's wife actually cooked him a large table of sumptuous dinner. I didn't expect my sister-in-law to be at home too. At this time, Ramsey's wife also noticed Su Feng. She quickly stopped her work and prepared slippers for Su Feng herself. I think you are the wind. He has been talking about you. I watched your game against Leicester City, and your last header was really cool. In an instant, Ramsey's wife transformed into I'm a little fan of Su Feng. This made Ramsey a little embarrassed, and he coughed twice. Okay, let's eat. If we don't eat, we'll get cold. With that, Ramsey introduced Su Feng to his seat. Chapter 184. Debut Gift Pack. Holland Sprints. At this time, Ramsey's wife poured a glass of champagne for Su Feng. She curiously asked her husband, "How does Feng drink? Is this too much?" Unexpectedly, Ramsey's answer shocked Ramsey's wife. Was it too much? Not at all. This little wine is not enough for Su Feng to fill his teeth. After Ramsey finished speaking, his wife was shocked. But, as professional football players, aren't you allowed to drink? His wife expressed his question. However, Ramsey very patiently explained to his wife, yes, logically speaking, ordinary football players cannot drink, but Feng is not an ordinary player. After hearing Ramsey making fun of himself, Su Feng also quickly explained, actually, we Chinese people drink a lot. We are too tired after training for a day, so drinking some wine can help us sleep better. Ramsey's wife continued, by the way, I want to ask it's a more personal question for you. Are you single now? After hearing Ramsey's wife's question, Su Feng's pupils suddenly shook, and he vaguely felt that something bad was going to happen, but Su Feng still said, I am still single at the moment. A smile immediately appeared on Ramsey's wife's face. She continued to say to Su Feng, that's really great. I have a sister. She is just 18 years old now and is a freshman at Cambridge University. I think you and her are a perfect match. If possible, I hope I can introduce you two to each other. Su Feng never expected that this Western woman also likes to play matchmaker for others. Originally, Su Feng wanted to refuse, but because of Ramsey's face, he could only agree half-heartedly. If there is a chance, I can meet her. After hearing what Su Feng said, Ramsey's wife felt relieved. After dinner, Su Feng felt that he was already a little tipsy. In order not to make a fool of himself, he wisely said goodbye to the Ramseys. After returning to the player's apartment, Su Feng simply washed up and then lay down on the bed to rest. At this time, Su Feng suddenly remembered something. Su Feng played against Leicester City for the first time in the Premier League for Arsenal. After the game, Su Feng received a Premier League debut gift bag, which he has not opened yet, so Su Feng immediately opened the system. I remember that when Su Feng participated in the Bundesliga league for the first time, he also received a debut gift pack. I have to say that this debut gift pack is obviously more luxurious than the last Bundesliga debut gift pack. Premier League debut gift package is open. Link. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Haaland's sprint ability. Haaland who eats children. After Su Feng saw the system reward, his whole heart suddenly became excited. Su Feng is very familiar with Haaland. He is another rising superstar after Messi and Ronaldo. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. At 1.9 meters tall, he still possesses extremely fast speed. Any defender who encounters Haaland will be a nightmare. Once Su Feng has Haaland's impact, he will naturally be able to run sideways in the Premier League completely unafraid of physical confrontation. This is undoubtedly an added advantage for the current Su Feng, and it is basically the only shortcoming that Su Feng has to make up for. Soon Arsenal training begins. Since Coach Wenger and assistant coach Bold decided to carry out a series of tactical reforms, during the next period of training, Arsenal began to demonstrate different tactical systems at the same time. In view of Su Feng's wonderful performance in the last game, Coach Wenger is also prepared to give Su Feng more playing time. Of course, Coach Wenger has always hoped that Su Feng can improve his confrontation ability. After training for the day, Coach Wenger also specifically found Su Feng to talk. Feng, first of all, I want to thank you for your wonderful performance in the last game and successfully helped our Arsenal win, but although you have performed well during this period, I must tell you that your physical confrontation ability is still need to strengthen. The bolder assistant coach has told me many times that after every training, you will sneak away quietly and not participate in the additional training plan originally planned for you. Now, I tell you clearly, you must practice extra every day during this period. This is all for your own good. You also saw in the last game that the Premier League referees' penalty standards are very loose. Once you cannot adapt to the physical confrontation in the Premier League, injuries will occur. Risk, Coach Wenger explained to Su Feng earnestly. This time, Su Feng made a guarantee to Coach Wenger. Although Su Feng has now acquired Haaland's sprinting ability and is no longer afraid of any Premier League defender in terms of confrontation, Su Feng also knows that once his performance in the game is completely opposite to that before, he is likely to arouse everyone's suspicion. It's better to participate in extra training with peace of mind, so that you can have an excuse. Not long after, under the leadership of assistant coach Bold, Su Feng came to the team's physical examination room to conduct physical examination records. During the examination process, Su Feng tried not to expose his true strength, so he did not use his full strength. This also resulted in very unsatisfactory test reports. As a result, the bolder assistant coach began to change Su Feng's eating habits. He gave Su Feng a menu and asked Su Feng to eat in this combination after training. Basically, they are boiled chicken breast, protein and other foods that can build muscle. Dinner. While all the Arsenal players were eating pasta and steak, Su Feng only had boiled chicken breast in front of him, which instantly made Su Feng lose his appetite. After Ramsey saw Su Feng's dinner, he couldn't help complaining, "Feng, eat more, maybe you can grow again." Ha 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 ha. Su Feng ignored Ramsey. Su Feng knew very well that if he wanted to succeed, he would naturally have to experience things he didn't like to do. There are no shortcuts to success. If you want to become the best football player in the world, you must first experience pain. After all, there is a famous saying in China, therefore, if someone is greater than someone from heaven, he must first work hard on his will and muscles. Time went round and round, and soon we came to the third round of the Premier League. In this game, Arsenal is going to challenge Southampton away from home. To be honest, Southampton is still relatively sharp now. After 2 rounds, Southampton is ranked 8th in the Premier League, basically a mid-range team. Chapter 185. Substitute appearance. Great work again. Judging from Arsenal's current strength, it is still difficult to defeat Southampton, plus it is an away game. Coach Wenger also attaches great importance to this game. He decided to experiment with the lineup in this game. First of all, Wenger decided to cultivate the dead midfielder as the absolute core. He wanted to see where the upper limit of the dead midfielder was in order to allow the dead midfielder to show his true strength in tonight's game. As much as possible, Coach Wenger did not include Feng and Ramsey in the starting lineup. The reason why he chose to do this is very simple. That is, Coach Wenger knows that the dead midfielder cannot deal with Feng and Ramsey. If these 2 players appear in the game, it is very likely that they will not be able to show the true performance of the dead midfielder. Strength in the locker room. When Coach Arsene Wenger announced the starting lineup for this game, the attacking midfielder instantly started to show off his skills. Instantly, I felt that my status in the team had risen a lot. Soon 8:30 in the evening, Southampton's home stadium was packed with people and the crowd was buzzing in distant China. The largest sports website Inq.com also broadcast live, but after the 2 commentators saw Arsenal's starting lineup, their moods instantly dropped. Zon Jun weakly said towards the microphone, "Welcome to all viewers to watch the third round of the 2016-2017 Premier League. Southampton faces Arsenal at home. Next, I will introduce to you the starting lineups of the 2 teams." Southampton's head coach Pierre, who is playing at home, can be said to have fielded the strongest lineup. The specific starting lineup is as follows: goalkeeper Foster, 4 defenders Porter Lang, Van Dijk, Jose Font, Cedric Suarez, 3 defensive midfielders Romeu, Stephen Davis, Karasi, 3 offensive players Tadiki, Raymond, J. Rodriguez. As for Arsenal, who played away from home, Feng, the Chinese football player who performed well in the last game, did not get a chance to start. Some surprise. The specific positions are as follows: the goalkeeper is still Sek, the 4 defenders are Bellerin, Mustafi, Koscielny, Monreal, the 2 back waist Kirkland, Cazorla, 3 front court Walcott, dead midfielder, Chamberlain, single forward Welbeck. With a referee's whistle, the game officially started. One thing to say: the state of the dead midfielder is really too ordinary. After the game started, the dead midfielder got a lot of opportunities in the front court. Obviously, Southampton's defensive players have not yet found the rhythm of the game. Logically speaking, this should be a good opportunity for Arsenal to score, but unfortunately, these few passes from the dead midfielder were really outrageous. One of the passes from the attacking midfielder actually reached the feet of the opponent's central defender. There was no way to create pressure on the opponent. About 5 minutes later, Southampton's players, playing at home, gradually found the rhythm of the game. This is not a good thing for Arsenal fans. As expected, after just 3 minutes, Southampton successfully scored. The reason why Southampton scored this time was entirely due to the mistake of the dead midfielder. This was originally an attacking opportunity for Arsenal. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. After the football passed around and passed to the feet of the dead midfielder, in an instant, multiple Southampton defensive players rushed towards the dead midfielder at the same time. It was a direct double-team defense against the dead midfielder. Although the dead midfielder has certain dribbling ability, the physical fitness of these 2 Southampton defensive players is quite explosive. They did not have any nonsense with the dead midfielder and directly engaged in physical confrontation. Ever since the dead midfielder lost the ball at his feet, this instead became a good opportunity for Southampton to counterattack. A moment of effort, the football appeared at Tadic's feet in the front court. This player's personal ability is quite outstanding. That is, he has a certain speed and can shoot by himself in the blink of an eye. The core player of Southampton has successfully dribbled the ball and appeared on the line of Arsenal's penalty area. At the same time, Arsenal's 2 central defenders Mustafi and Koscielny also immediately appeared and Taddy in front of Key. But, the 2 central defenders did not stop Tadic's shot. The latter hit the ground with his kick, and the football instantly flew into the goal guarded by Southampton, playing at home, relied on quick counterattacks and successfully scored. Moment the atmosphere at the scene was ignited. Southampton fans started singing the team anthem, and the entire stadium was drowned out by the fans' voices. Naturally, the pressure of the game quietly came to the Arsenal players on the coaching bench. Wenger also kept pacing back and forth. He never expected that his team would lose the ball first. which undoubtedly disrupted his game plan considering that it was only the first half of the game. Coach Wenger did not make substitution adjustments immediately. Instead, they chose to continue maintaining the current lineup, but, unfortunately, Arsenal's players did not perform miracles throughout the first half. Arsenal's offense basically did not get particularly good shooting opportunities most of the time. Arsenal have been passively beaten. The final score was settled at 1-0. Entering halftime, Coach Wenger was furious. He directly sent the dead midfielder off the field. And also replaced forward Welbeck. The two brothers played like shit in the first half. The replacements for these two players are Ramsey and Feng. Have to say Coach Wenger's substitution this time was quite good. When the two players Feng and Ramsey came on the stage, Arsenal's offense was directly raised to a higher level. Only 5 minutes into the second half, Arsenal managed to equalize the score in the midfield. After Ramsey received the football, he successfully got rid of the interference of the two Southampton defensive players with a Marseille spin. After that, Feng in the front court saw Ramsey completely get rid of and rush towards him as soon as possible. Sprint into the opponent's penalty area. Ramsey keenly saw Feng's movement first timing. Ramsey sent a long overhead pass. Bang! In daily training, Ramsey and Feng have always been training subjects. Naturally, there is a natural understanding between the two players. After the football crossed the sea of people, it landed perfectly at Feng's feet. In the restricted area, Feng made a prompt decision and fired a powerful volley, and the football successfully flew into the goal. 1-1. Chapter 186. Southampton begins to change their formation and counter-attack wildly. After Feng scored the goal, he was naturally extremely excited deep in his heart. He immediately rushed to the corner flag area and celebrated this wonderful goal with a sliding kneel. At the same time, many Arsenal players also rushed in front of Feng, extremely excited and happy for Feng's goal. Ramsey also directly gave Feng a big hug. Then he shouted emotionally towards Feng, "Well done, Feng. I knew you could definitely score goals. Too strong." Other Arsenal players also spoke from the bottom of their hearts. He praised, "As long as you are on the court, our Arsenal will definitely win the game. Keep up the good work, brothers. We are going to win." It is undeniable that Feng's goal also made everyone proud. The morale of the entire Arsenal players was greatly boosted. At this moment, every Arsenal player was confident enough. They firmly believed that they could win the game. At the same time, in the live broadcast room of the largest sports website in China, the commentator Zhang Jun was also excited. He used his already hoarse voice and kept shouting into the microphone at Feng again. At the most critical moment of the game, Feng stood up decisively again, and he used his own strength to help the team even the score. At this moment, Feng is the hero of Arsenal. Although the score between Arsenal and Southampton has just returned to the original point, I believe that with the current state of Feng, he can definitely help the team achieve the final victory. On the barrage in the live broadcast room, many Chinese fans also exclaimed with great excitement, "If Coach Wenger had played Feng earlier, maybe Arsenal would have been in the lead in tonight's game. Feng is really strong." Ramsey and Feng are two players. After coming on the field, he immediately changed the rhythm of the game. No one can stop Feng's progress. Keep up the good work. There is still plenty of time, and if nothing else happens, Arsenal is fully capable of getting 3 points in the away game. Victory belongs to Arsenal. In the Southampton away fan stands, Arsenal fans were also extremely excited. In addition to the last game against Leicester City, Feng has become a key player in 2 consecutive games. He single-handedly helped the team complete redemption. So for Arsenal fans in England, they have been completely impressed by Feng's personal ability. Feng deserves to be the top scorer in Bundesliga too. His ability in front of the goal is really great. Don't give the opponent any chance to defend. As expected of you, once Feng finds the rhythm of the game, if it does, Southampton will probably lose. This shot is really cool, a completely unreasonable shot. That's it, keep scoring goals. Don't stop, we must win. Of course, for the Southampton fans playing at home, when they witnessed Feng's wonderful header, they instantly lost their confidence. This guy's header is too strong. What on earth are Southampton's defense doing? Why don't they focus on defending? Damn it. An Asian striker actually scored. What a shame. It's really too bad. Brothers, don't be discouraged. This is our home court. Hold on. Victory will belong to Southampton. That's right. No one can stop us from moving forward in the next time. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. The Southampton fans were obviously more energetic than before and began to shout crazily for victory and goals. At the same time, Southampton's head coach also began to make certain changes during this period. Apparently for Southampton's head coach, he does not want his team to get a draw at home. He is eager to win. After substitution, the Southampton head coach continued to shout hysterically from the sidelines, "Everyone press me up in attack. We want to score goals. This is Southampton's home court. We must create pressure on our opponents. Give me some strength." It is undeniable that after continuous substitution adjustments, the condition of Southampton's players was obviously much better than before, and Southampton even began to gradually control the rhythm of the game. Once Southampton begins to consciously control the rhythm of the game, then this is naturally not a good thing for Arsenal. Really, in the 60th minute of the game, Southampton, playing at home, got an excellent opportunity. It's still Tadic's organization. It has to be said that in the current Southampton lineup, the player with the strongest personal ability is naturally Tadic. Once this player receives the football, he can always create pressure on the opponent's defense. This time is no exception. On the wing, after Tadic received the football, he completely ignored the opponent's defense and continuously relied on changes in rhythm to force breakthroughs. Fullback Bellerin saw this and naturally appeared in front of Tadic to help defend. Bellerin is a very fast player, but Bellerin's speed is of no use in defending Tadic. After several consecutive breakthroughs, Tadic once again relied on a sudden change in rhythm to force acceleration, and then directly passed the football to the goal, now in Arsenal's penalty area. Southampton forward Jay Rodriguez rushed over. Although Arsenal's two central defenders Mustafi and Koscielny have also appeared around Jay Rodriguez, use your body as much as possible to stop Jay Rodriguez's progress, but Jay Rodriguez still made a shot, a powerful kick. The football was spinning rapidly towards the Arsenal goal. At this critical moment, Arsenal goalkeeper Cech showed a terrifying saving reaction. He successfully completed the save with his left hand and forcefully saved Jay Rodriguez's shot. This is Cech's personal ability. At this moment, the scene was in an uproar, although Southampton fans feel quite regretful. At the same time, Southampton fans believe even more that the team is fully capable of continuing to put pressure on the opponent's goal. As expected, 5 minutes later, Southampton had another chance to score. Chapter 187. Counterattack. Unreasonable way to score. During this period, the pressure of the game once again fell on every Arsenal player. Southampton's crazy counterattack directly turned Arsenal's defense upside down. 70 minutes of the game, Southampton's second wave of offense arrived. Still a breakthrough from the wing, however. This time the player who broke through on the wing was replaced by Raymond. In today's game, the player Raymond was more in a state of soy sauce and had no chance to show his true strength, but now, is always shining gold. Raymond got his chance. Wing after Raymond received the football, he accelerated without saying a word, because at this time most Arsenal defensive players focused on Tadic. This also gave Raymond a chance to break through on the wing. Raymond was full of firepower, relying on his absolute speed advantage to sprint forward forcefully. 3 times 5 divided by 2. Raymond then directly reached the top of the opponent's penalty area. At this time, Arsenal head coach Arsene Wenger on the sidelines realized the seriousness of the problem and quickly called out to his defensive players to create interference as soon as possible. Don't let this guy break through with the ball so easily. Hurry up and help defend immediately. Defend. Defend. Coach Wenger was a little panicked and quickly called out to the defensive players. Good thing at a critical moment, Koscielny showed his experienced defensive experience. Koscielny suddenly rushed in front of Raymond with a step. The center-back with considerable defensive experience did not choose to grab the ball immediately, but bumped into Raymond with his body. As mentioned before, Premier League referees are actually relatively loose in their penalties for physical contact in games, and Koscielny successfully knocked Raymond away in this way. Really, the referee did not make any penalty. This undoubtedly made Southampton head coach Pierre very angry. The latter directly scolded referee. "Are you blind? This is obviously a penalty," but the referee did not have any problem expressed and signaled that the game should continue. And at this moment football has already appeared at Ramsey's feet. As we all know, Ramsey can be regarded as the core of the entire Arsenal offensive and defensive transition. This time, after Ramsey received the football, he did not hesitate and immediately passed the football to Sue on the left wing. Clean and neat, no sloppiness. In the away fan area, Arsenal fans naturally cheered immediately after seeing the team get an excellent counter-attack opportunity. No doubt at this moment, every Arsenal fan saw the dawn of a goal. The reason why Arsenal fans are so convinced is because Ramsey's long pass successfully found Feng. Although Feng is still not Arsenal's main player, every time Feng comes on the court, he can always help Arsenal score goals. Therefore, when Feng receives the football, Arsenal fans become excited again. Courtside Arsenal coach Arsene Wenger was also very excited. He was very aware of Su Feng's personal abilities. Coach Wenger adjusted his glasses, and then spoke with sharp eyes to the assistant coach. Bold on the side, Feng will definitely help the team score this time. Coach Wenger just finished speaking. Su Feng had already successfully reached the top of the opponent's penalty area single-handedly at this moment. Southampton's central defender naturally did not dare to be careless and rushed towards Su Feng. Van Dijk plus Jose Font? Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. These two central defenders are both very physically fit central defenders, especially Van Dijk, who will become the most valuable central defender in football in the future. But, even if the two central defenders Van Dijk and Jose Font appeared in front of Su Feng at the same time, there was still no way to stop Su Feng's progress. Don't forget that Su Feng has successfully obtained Haaland's breakthrough ability in an instant. Su Feng suddenly kicked the ball with his right foot, and the next second, Su Feng didn't make too many fancy moves, but simply bumped into the two Southampton centre-backs with his body. In an instant, Su Feng was like a heavy tank, killing him from the gap between the two central defenders. This is Su Feng's terrifying ability. The two central defenders, Van Dijk and Jose Font, failed to guard Su Feng, allowing him to get out of the middle. There is absolutely no way. The next second, Su Feng had already successfully entered the opponent's penalty area. Although goalkeeper Foster had immediately made an attack, Su Feng did not give the central defender a chance. With a dunk of his left foot, he easily shook Foster away, and then pushed the ball into the empty net with great ease, 2-1 without any surprise. Su Feng used his super personal ability to once again help Arsenal overtake the score. Inside the live broadcast room of Kinkyu.com, the Chinese fans have long been unable to control their excitement. Oh my god. Why is Su Feng's physical fitness so terrible all of a sudden? I can't hold it. I can't hold it. I feel like since Su Feng came to the Premier League, his impact is stronger than in Germany. B is even more terrifying. I heard that Su Feng would specially practice extra physical confrontation after every training. It seems that the extra practice has worked. Su Feng exists like a beast on the court. On site, the Arsenal fans immediately started shouting Su Feng's name crazily with hysterical voices. Wins, wins, wins. As Southampton's head coach, Pierre was deeply shocked by Su Feng's series of operations just now. He couldn't believe it. An Asian player, or more precisely, a Chinese player, actually scored a goal in such an unreasonable way. This is simply terrifying. The fans of Southampton at home were extremely depressed. They yelled at Su Feng, who was celebrating. The home fans used this method to vent their dissatisfaction as much as possible, but in fact such abuse did not have any effect on Su Feng. On the court, Southampton's centre-back Van Dijk put his hands on his hips, confusion written on his face. This guy's body is really terrifying. Looking at Su Feng's back, Van Dijk couldn't help but sigh, and on the Arsenal bench Wenger and assistant coach Bold were already hugging each other tightly to celebrate the goal. Sure enough, Su Feng was right. This kid is fully capable of getting a starting chance. Chapter 188. It's Su Feng again. Score another goal. The game continues. For Arsenal now, they have completely taken the initiative in the game. After all, they are in the lead now. In the coming time, Su Feng once again became the focal point of the team. As long as Su Feng receives the football in the front court, Southampton's defensive players will immediately interfere. This time too, at the top of the penalty area, Su Feng just received a pass from Ramsey. In an instant, several Southampton defensive players rushed over immediately. Don't give Su Feng any chance at all. After seeing this scene, the two commentators in the Kinkyu.com live broadcast room also spoke eloquently. There is no doubt that based on Su Feng's current personal ability, he is fully qualified to become an Arsenal starting player. His performance is simply outstanding. If I were Coach Wenger, will definitely choose Su Feng to be the starter. After Zhang Jun said this, a large number of barrages immediately appeared on the screen of the live broadcast room of Kinkyu.com. The Chinese fans watching the game also began to express their opinions. You're right, Coach Wenger should change the starting lineup. Su Feng has already scored 2 goals in tonight's game. Such a scoring efficiency is really terrifying. He deserves a chance to start. Maybe if Su Feng was allowed to start, Arsenal would have won long ago. Su Feng needs to come to the rescue every time. It is really difficult for Su Feng. I hope next time we can see Su Feng appear in the starting position in every game. Let Su Feng start. Only by letting Su Feng start can the team win. While the fans and commentators were discussing, Arsenal once got a relatively good offensive opportunity in order to get as much ball power as possible. During this time, Feng began to actively retreat to the side. You must know that Feng is often able to use his speed and rhythm advantages in the Bundesliga to easily complete wing breakthroughs. This time too, at this moment after Feng received the ball from the right wing, it didn't take long. Many defensive players also immediately appeared in front of Feng. This includes Southampton defender Cedric Soares. This Southampton defensive player is quite experienced at the same time. Cedric Soares also knows very well how terrifying Feng's personal abilities are, so when Cedric Soares appeared in front of Feng, he didn't hesitate at all want to directly interfere with the opponent with foul actions. This was the best solution Cedric Soares could come up with, but the reality is cruel. Just when Cedric Soares was about to make a foul, Feng took the lead. The right foot kicked the football to the left foot, and then the next second, the left foot immediately picked up the football again. Between the lightning and flint, Feng actually made a move to pick the ball up. Quite gorgeous. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. At this moment, Cedric Soares, who was in charge of defense, was completely confused. He couldn't believe his eyes. How is this possible? How did this guy do it? It's really abominable. Cedric Soares felt insulted. The atmosphere reached its peak. The next second, Cedric Soares didn't hesitate. He chased Feng at a crazy 100-meter sprint speed without any hesitation. Now Cedric Soares just wants to prove his strength, but it's a pity when Feng rushed up. Basically no player can keep up with him. 3 times 5 divided by 2. Feng had successfully reached near the opponent's penalty area line. At the same time, the entire Southampton defensive players instantly felt the danger coming. Not long after, Southampton's 2 central defenders Jose Font and Van Dijk also made premise, with the purpose of encircling Feng. Southampton's head coach was also a little unable to sit still on the sidelines. He quickly roared at his defender, "Defend. Don't let this Asian break through. Apply pressure. You can end his breakthrough by fouling when necessary." At this critical moment, Feng acted quite calmly faced with the interference of Van Dijk and Jose Font. Feng first moved his left foot and deliberately moved the football in front of Van Dijk. When the latter saw this, he naturally couldn't help but stretch his legs to intercept. After Feng saw the fish taking the bait, he suddenly moved his left foot back again. That's all. Feng easily got rid of Van Dijk's interference. The next second, another central defender also appeared in front of Feng. Feng decisively chose to smash the ball. A moment of effort, the football quickly passed between Jose Font's legs, easily penetrated into the opponent's penalty area. At this moment, Feng already had a chance to shoot directly. The pressure instantly came to goalkeeper Foster. He had no choice but to attack decisively, but the moment Foster struck, Feng had already finished the shot with his right foot. In an instant, the football quickly passed by Foster's feet and then went straight into the goal. 3-1. At this moment, the entire Southampton stadium fell into silence, and the huge stadium was silent obviously. This is not the result Southampton fans wanted to see. Feng, who scored the goal, was very excited. He immediately rushed to the corner flag area and once again performed his iconic kneeling celebration. It didn't take long. The Arsenal players also rushed to Feng and enjoyed the wonderful moment together. Although there were huge boos directed at Feng in the Southampton home fan stands, this did not affect Feng's celebration mood. Damn it! This Asian was allowed to score again. What on earth are these 2 guys, Van Dijk and Jose Font, doing? Sell these 2 losers quickly. They are too powerful. That's bad. Why is this Asian always able to score goals? Dismissal. The coach is dismissed and all the players have been dismissed. Arsenal has such a powerful young player on the bench. It is said that Wenger spent €35 million to introduce the top scorer in the Bundesliga 2nd division. Wenger's vision is really vicious. Chapter 189. The first Premier League hat-trick was achieved inside the live broadcast room of Kingq.com. 2 Chinese commentators, Zhan Jun and He Wei, also marveled at Feng's goal. It's Feng's goal again. This goal is completely a reflection of his personal ability. This time Feng completed the breakthrough from the wing. The whole action was quite gorgeous and did not give the opponent a chance to react at all. After Zhan Jun finished speaking, He Wei also added this should be the first time Feng has scored a hat-trick in the Premier League, and it was a hat-trick completed as a substitute. It seems that after the game tonight, Wenger the coach has to make tactical adjustments. Feng's playing in the Premier League seems to be the same as playing in the Bundesliga too. It's completely chopping and cutting. The opponent's defense has no way to create pressure on Feng. Live broadcast room on the barrage. A large number of Chinese fans also praised Feng's performance. It's a familiar smell. It feels like I'm back to the days when I was killing everyone in Paderborn. Southampton's defense is really good, especially the two central defenders, who have no way to create anything for Feng. Threat. The hat-trick has been achieved in less than 80 minutes of the game. It seems that the suspense of this game has basically disappeared. Feng is worthy of being Feng. He has proven his full strength with his actual actions. You can play in the starting lineup, as long as Feng comes on the field, Arsenal will definitely win. Hat-trick achieved. Is Feng still far away from the fourth grade? On the court after the Southampton players kicked off, the head coach Shivan roared at his disciples, there is still time. Cheer up, fight your opponents, just shoot when you find an opportunity. Don't give up the game. In the last 10 minutes, the players of Southampton, who were playing at home, were obviously a little anxious, and they began to attack Arsenal's goal hysterically, and this time on the contrary, Coach Wenger behaved quite calmly. He did not let his players attack rashly, but instead retreated and defended for Arsenal. A score of 3-1 was enough to ensure their victory. Stabilizing the current situation is Arsenal's best choice even in the final stage of the game. Feng, who was killing everyone tonight, also deliberately returned to the midfield to participate in defense, although Southampton's players tried their best to attack at the last moment. To be honest, except for Tadic, the personal abilities of the other players in Southampton's lineup are really unflattering. That is to say, Arsenal's players only need to limit Tadic's point, and they can naturally win the game in the blink of an eye. The game came to the last minute of stoppage time finally. Southampton, who attacked tirelessly, got an excellent shooting opportunity. Facing the double interference of Ramsey and Kirkland in the midfield, Tadic sent a very penetrating pass with great difficulty, between the lightning and Flint like a meteor streaking across the sky. The football suddenly appeared at the feet of J. Rodriguez. After the latter caught the football, he relied on his absolute speed to fly with all his strength and accelerate hard force to get a shooting opportunity in Arsenal's penalty area. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. J. Rodriguez successfully made a shot. Unfortunately, the football was ruthlessly blocked by Arsenal goalkeeper Peter Cech as J. Rodriguez's shot failed. The referee also blew the full-time whistle. After 3 long whistles, the game finally ended. Arsenal, playing away from home, relied on Feng's hat-trick to defeat their opponents and successfully win. After the game, Feng was also elected as the best player of the game without any suspense on the bench. Arsenal players also high-fived Feng to celebrate, except for the dead midfielder and Welbeck. For a dead midfielder, tonight's game was definitely the one he hated the most, bar none. Before the game, Coach Wenger deliberately asked the dead midfielder to serve as the core of the team's offense. However, the dead midfielder's performance in the first half of the game was like shit, which completely made Wenger lose his trust. The poor playing condition of the dead midfielder also made Welbeck unfortunately substituted. With the two players Feng and Ramsey on the stage, the game changed drastically in an instant. Feng, who was a thorn in the side of the Deadman's attacking midfielder, helped Arsenal win with a hat-trick, severely slapping the Deadman in the face. Front waist. So on the bench, when most Arsenal players sent their blessings to Feng, only the dead midfielder and Welbeck remained silent. After, under the leadership of Captain Koscielny, Arsenal players came to the away fan stands to say goodbye. The moment Feng reached the away fan stand, the entire Arsenal fans began to shout Feng's name. Ah! Wind! 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 Ah! Wind! 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 Ah! Wind! 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 Arsenal fans know very well that without Feng, it is very likely that Arsenal will not win. Now will lose the game at home to Southampton. This is the second time Feng has saved the team at a critical moment. This moment, Southampton's home stadium seems to have become Arsenal's Emirates Stadium. Tonight is a festival and a feast for Arsenal fans, but it is painful for Southampton fans. The fans were quite disappointed with the performance of Southampton players. Many Southampton players even chose to leave the field early before the game was over. After returning to the locker room, Arsenal head coach Arsene Wenger also came to Feng's side. Wenger was naturally quite satisfied with Feng's performance tonight. He sighed towards the other Arsenal players. It was Feng who saved the team again at a critical moment. His 3 goals were all wonderful. I hope each of you can learn from Feng, especially for some very individual players. I hope you can focus on the game and take the game seriously. It's obvious Coach Wenger's second words were addressed to the dead midfielder and Welbeck. After finishing the summary, Coach Wenger and Feng attended the post-match press conference again. In an interview with reporters, Coach Wenger was quite satisfied with Feng's performance. Feng's performance tonight was perfect. He almost single-handedly helped the team win. If I remember correctly, this is the second time Feng saved the team at a critical moment. However, as a reporter and a fan, I am a bit puzzled as to why you didn't give Su Feng a chance to start. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190. Won the support of a large number of fans. Extremely popular. A reporter from Sky Sports asked Wenger. After all, Wenger was a head coach who had seen strong winds and waves. He was not angry because of the sharp question. Instead, he patiently explained to reporters of course Su Feng's performance was quite perfect, but before that, the coaching staff a physical fitness test was conducted on Su Feng, and the test showed that Su Feng has not adapted to the rhythm of the Premier League, Coach Wenger said, took a sip of mineral water, and continued so during this period. The team also tested Su Feng. Targeted training arrangements were carried out, and after the training, Su Feng conducted confrontation training. Judging from what was shown in today's game, the coaching staff still played a certain role in Su Feng's confrontation training. After that, this guy from the reporter from Sky Sports continued to ask Coach Wenger, in that case, will Su Feng appear in Arsenal's starting lineup for the next game? Faced with this question, Coach Wenger smiled first, and then continued, there are still 5 days before the next game. Anything can happen during these 5 days, so I can't give you a guarantee. Su Feng accepted an interview with reporters. Sky Sports continued to ask Su Feng, hello, Feng, you are the first Asian player in Arsenal's history, and also the first Chinese player. What do you think of Arsenal as a club? Su Feng talked to the reporter. Joining Arsenal was my childhood dream. Arsenal once maintained a record of 49 unbeaten games under the leadership of Coach Wenger. It was at that time that I fell in love with Arsenal. It is an honor for me to play for Arsenal. I hope to use my own strength to help Arsenal and strive to win the championship. I believe you have such strength. After this game, a large number of England the media also reported on Su Feng's performance. For a time, Su Feng became the hottest star in the Premier League. Chinese youngster becomes Arsenal's savior again. He single-handedly helped the team complete the reversal. Victory belongs to Arsenal. Su Feng completed his first hat-trick in the Premier League. The inexplicable Su Feng. He once again became the key player, scoring 3 goals with his head and kicks. Come on as a substitute. Su Feng completed his hat-trick in 45 minutes. Will he be the core of Arsenal in the future? The next day around Arsenal's training ground, a large number of Arsenal fans came. These fans have only one purpose, and that is to welcome the team's hero. To be more precise, they come to welcome Su Feng. In last night's game, Su Feng's performance was too amazing. He successfully helped the team win with a hat-trick. Therefore, after this battle, Su Feng also gained a large number of fans among the Arsenal fans. Wind. When Su Feng arrived at the door of the training ground, these Arsenal fans couldn't wait any longer and rushed in front of Su Feng. Feng, can you give me an autograph, idol? I want to take a photo with you. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. Su Feng, you are so handsome. I hope you can stay at Arsenal. You are Arsenal hero. Arsenal fans will always support you. The Arsenal fans were so enthusiastic that they surrounded Su Feng, while Su Feng kindly took photos and signed autographs for every Arsenal fan. At that time, the dead midfielder and Welbeck also came to the training ground. Only no Arsenal fan noticed the dead midfielder and Welbeck. When the dead midfielder saw this, he instantly felt a huge gap. Damn it, there are so many idiots asking for Su Feng's autograph. This guy just got lucky and scored 3 goals. What's so impressive about it? Welbeck said with added jealousy. That's right. This guy Su Feng is just lucky. He has to thank us for scoring 3 goals. If we hadn't made a crazy breakthrough in the first half and made Southampton's defenders lose their physical fitness, Su Feng would have been able to score 3 goals, let alone 3 goals. Even if you can score 1 goal, you have to burn incense. Just as the dead midfielder and Welbeck were mocking, Arsenal's captain Koscielny also came to the dead man's midfielder. And in front of Welbeck, obviously, the Arsenal captain was quite dissatisfied with the attitude of the dead midfielder and Welbeck. He said to the 2 players very domineeringly, Coach Wenger said before, don't make small moves. We are all a team and we have to work together for victory. I hope you can treat Su Feng as a real player in the future. Teammate. After training, Arsenal captain Koscielny also took the initiative to summon the players. He said to all the Arsenal first team players in a loud voice, brothers, you have worked hard during this period. We just experienced it was a fierce battle, So I decided that on tomorrow's rest day, let's go out for a dinner together and have fun. After hearing the news, all the Arsenal players immediately became excited. After all, most of the time, Arsenal players, no, they should be professional players, work more on 3 points in one line, either training or competing, or resting. Their spare time life is quite boring. After the captain spoke, all the Arsenal players agreed to the invitation. Although the dead midfielder didn't particularly want to go, it was the captain who spoke after all. He could only agree because of Koscielny's face. The next day in a hotel in London, Arsenal players came to the hall wearing casual clothes. Captain Koscielny also specially took out a few bottles of champagne and talked to his teammates. Brothers have worked hard during this period. Now our team is in very good condition and is currently ranked first in the Premier League. Although we will have to go through several tough battles over a period of time, I believe that Arsenal will always be able to win. After that, Koscielny drank the champagne in the goblet directly. After that, Koscielny said to Feng, "Come on, Feng, I want to toast you." If Feng hadn't been here during this period, if we stand up and score at critical moments, maybe our Arsenal will not be able to achieve such good results. Come on, I suggest that all Arsenal players toast Feng. Do you think it is good? Okay, other players said in unison said. Chapter 191. We meet the strongest opponent. The Red Army. Liverpool is coming, of course. Not all Arsenal players like to drink champagne. There are still some more professional teammates who do not drink it, but choose to drink drinks instead of alcohol. But no matter what, most Arsenal players also highly recognize Feng's strength. They believe from the bottom of their hearts that Feng is fully capable of entering Arsenal's starting lineup. It didn't take long for Feng to be extremely drunk. The other players had a small drink, but Feng chose to drink it in big gulps, very free and easy. After the banquet, everyone also returned home to rest. However, Feng did not go to sleep immediately after returning home. Instead, he took out his mobile phone and continued to play the live football game in order to increase attributes. Feng can do it. The next day, daily training in order to allow the players to better adapt to the rhythm of the game. Coach Wenger also deliberately divided the main players into two teams for a 5-a-side game today. During the game, Feng continued his excellent competitive form. When the football came to Feng's feet, it was like being attracted by a magnet. At least 3 or more players can complete the steal from Feng, and this time what a coincidence. After Feng completed the breakthrough, he immediately started to shoot. Unexpectedly, the football hit the dead midfielder's eyes hard. In an instant, the deceased's waist, nose, and eyes were swollen. It was very funny. The Arsenal players present all smiled after seeing the embarrassing appearance of the dead midfielder. The dead midfielder was completely angered by Feng's action. He actually rushed in front of Feng and shouted at Feng loudly, "Did you do this on purpose? Are you out trying to prevent me from participating in the next game, even if I didn't enter? You will never be able to take my place in the starting lineup." The sensitive midfielder roared crazily towards Feng. After Feng heard these words, he couldn't help laughing and said, "Huh? It's really funny. You are the midfielder and I am the forward. How could I take your position? You must have persecution de illusions." After Feng finished speaking, he burst out laughing. This undoubtedly made the midfielder feel insulted. He was about to yell at Feng. At this time, Arsenal captain Koscielny immediately appeared in front of the midfielder and quickly stopped him. "Stop making trouble. Hurry up and train seriously. This is just a normal contact in a football match. No need to shout." After the dead midfielder saw the captain personally stop him, he could only endure his resentment. Gradually the time has come for the next Premier League game. Arsenal will face Liverpool at home in the 4th round of the Premier League. No doubt the Arsenal vs Liverpool match will be a battle like Mars hitting the earth. Currently, Arsenal has 9 points from the first 3 games, while Liverpool has 2 wins and 1 draw. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. The difference between the two teams is only 2 points. Judging from the current lineups of the two teams, Liverpool's lineup is actually not inferior to Arsenal, and in the last game between Liverpool and Chelsea, they defeated the Blues by a score of 5-0. This is enough to show that Liverpool is full of confidence when playing against strong teams. Before the game, a large number of English media also reported on the focus of Arsenal vs Liverpool. The 4th round of the Premier League faces a major confrontation, Arsenal vs Liverpool at home. Who can have the last laugh? Liverpool, full of firepower, visits the Emirates Stadium. Liverpool is ready to win. The most exciting battle in the Premier League is about to begin. Locked to Emirates Stadium on September 10th. Before the game, fans of the two teams also started to complain on the internet in the comments section of a sports website forum in England. Liverpool fans and Arsenal fans were already quarreling. Arsenal? The best position for them is 4th place. This team will never win the championship, although it is an away game. Liverpool is ready to massacre Arsenal. We'll see. Londoners, Liverpool will teach Arsenal a good lesson. Liverpool state is on the right track. We will capture the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal can only rely on Asians to score goals. This team is it's embarrassing for the Premier League. The reason why Arsenal can achieve 3 consecutive victories is simply because their opponents are too weak. Liverpool will let Arsenal see what a truly strong team is. Liverpool fans before the game started taunt mode turned on. Of course, Arsenal fans are not just ordinary people. After a while, a large number of Arsenal fans came to the forum. Liverpool? Although this team performed well in the Champions League, in the Premier League Liverpool can only be the younger brother of Arsenal. What are Liverpool fans so proud of? They have introduced so many big-name stars, but they are not ranked higher than us. What's wrong with Asians? Asians can also score Liverpool's goal. This is Arsenal's home court. No team can run wild at the Emirates Stadium, including Liverpool. Liverpool fans are really crazy. After this game, I believe Feng will make Liverpool fans shut up. The day before the game, the head coaches of both teams also attended the pre-match press conference. When Coach Wenger was interviewed by reporters, he was full of confidence. He talked to the reporter who was interviewing him. We will win the game against Liverpool. I believe every Arsenal player has already done a good job. Prepare. Although Liverpool also performed very well during this period, but this is our home court. I believe that the players and fans do not want to lose the game, and it is absolutely impossible for us to lose. After that, the reporter also asked about the starting lineup for tomorrow's game. Regarding this question, Wenger chose to have no comment. Not long after, Liverpool head coach Klopp also expressed his confidence in this game. We are well prepared. Although we are playing away from home, Liverpool are not afraid of any opponent. In the last game, we defeated the invincible Chelsea 5-0. Naturally, I believe the Liverpool players also can beat Arsenal. Feng? He is indeed an outstanding player and scored a hat-trick in the last game, but, as I have said, Liverpool is not afraid of any opponent, including Feng. Chapter 192. Enters the starting lineup. Close contact with the Stars the next day 7:30 p.m. Prime time period in the stands of the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal fans have been eagerly waiting for the start of this battle. The game hasn't started yet. Arsenal fans began to cheer the team's name with enthusiastic voices. Arsenal! 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 Although Liverpool is a traditional Premier League team, to be honest, Arsenal fans are still full of confidence in their players. I firmly believe that Arsenal will defeat the hot Liverpool at home. In the away fan stands at the Emirates Stadium, Liverpool fans, like Arsenal fans, began hysterically singing the team anthem, Never Walk Alone. The game hasn't started yet, but the fans of the two teams started a vocal contest. Half an hour before the game starts, both teams also announced their starting lineups. Arsenal here Feng, who scored a hat-trick in the last game, finally got a chance to start in distant China. Fans were equally excited when they saw Feng's name appearing on Arsenal's starting lineup. Wow! Coach Wenger finally made the right choice. Feng faced the powerful Liverpool in his first start. I hope Feng can have a wonderful performance. Go, Feng! Don't let us who stay up late to watch the game disappoint. As long as Feng plays, then this game is basically not a big problem. I heard that Liverpool fans mocked Feng before the game. Tonight Feng let Liverpool fans felt his terror. Feng scored Liverpool's goal. This picture is so beautiful. It seems that Coach Wenger didn't let Feng start before. It was entirely because he was using his knife to kill a chicken. Feng won't be allowed to start until a strong team. Quickly a large number of fans began to pour into the live broadcast room of 11.com to watch when the game started. The number of people watching Arsenal vs Liverpool reached 5 million. Welcome to all viewers to watch the fourth round of the 2016-2017 Premier League, Arsenal vs Liverpool at the Emirates Stadium. I am the commentator Zanjun. I am Li Wei. Next, Zanjun, will be here. Announce the starting lineups of the two teams. The first is the Arsenal side playing at home. As for the goalkeeper, it is still Petr Cech. The four defenders are Bellerin, Holding, Chamber, Thomas, Monreal, two defensive midfielders Kirkland, Ramsey, three front court Walcott, dead midfielder and Sanchez. The players in the forward position are Chinese young player, Feng, Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. It is worth mentioning that this is also Su Feng's first start this season. Let us look forward to Su Feng's wonderful performance in tonight's game, and playing away from home. On the Liverpool side, head coach Klopp also sent out the strongest lineup in the current team to fight. The goalkeeper is Mignolet, the 4 defenders are Marino, Klavan, Lovren, Klein, 3 midfielders Wijnaldum, Henderson, Lallana, 3 forwards Coutinho, Firmino, Maine. Zanjun continued. Judging from the record of the two teams' last 12 matches, Arsenal still has a certain advantage. In the last 12 matches between Arsenal and Liverpool, Arsenal has achieved a total of 4 wins, 6 draws and 2 losses. The two teams achieved 3-3 and 0-0 draws respectively last season, after Zanjun introduced the starting lineups of the two teams. At this time, Hiwei suddenly joked, "Zan Mr. Jun, many fans know that you are a loyal fan of Liverpool, and today Liverpool's opponent Arsenal has Chinese players in their lineup. I would like to ask Mr. Zanjun, do you support Liverpool or Arsenal more?" Zanjun smiled awkwardly and said, "It is true that I am a Liverpool fan, but now I am a commentator, so I do not support any team, or in other words, I support both Liverpool and Arsenal. I hope these two teams can give the audience a wonderful battle." While Zanjun and Hiwei were chatting, the starting players of Arsenal and Liverpool also entered the player tunnel one after another. Inside, Su Feng stood at the end of the Arsenal team in the player tunnel. Arsenal and Liverpool players have a pretty good relationship in private, and many players greet and chat with each other. However, for Su Feng, he does not have a good relationship with players in Liverpool. After all, Su Feng had been playing in the Bundesliga league before this. Since this was Su Feng's first start for Arsenal, and it was his first start against a strong Liverpool, it would be a lie to say he wasn't nervous. Su Feng tried his best to adjust his emotions by taking deep breaths. Not a moment. Su Feng also gradually calmed down at this time. Su Feng also noticed that the player standing next to him was Liverpool's number 10 player Coutinho, in addition to being the core of Liverpool. This player is also a general of the Brazilian team. He is a top star in the entire Premier League. It is said that La Liga giants Barcelona have always been very interested in Coutinho. The Arsenal players in front of Coutinho are Maine and Firmino. These two players are also world-class stars, especially Maine. His breakthrough on the wing is amazing. Su Feng couldn't help but sigh at this time. He finally stood in this position and could play against the stars who could only be seen in front of the TV in his previous life. At this time, Coutinho glanced at Su Feng, looked him up and down, and suddenly said to Su Feng, "You should be the Su Feng who scored a hat-trick in the last game. Hello, nice to meet you. I hope you can perform well tonight." Coutinho actually greeted Su Feng in person. Su Feng was a little surprised when he saw this. He didn't expect that Coutinho knew his name. "Hello, nice to meet you, too," Su Feng almost said the next sentence, finally seeing a living person, but considering that this sentence was too low, Su Feng finally held back at this moment. Under the leadership of the referee, the starting players of Arsenal and Liverpool also stepped onto the Emirates Stadium one after another. The moment Su Feng walked from the tunnel to the stadium, he felt that his eardrums were almost shattered by the cheers of the fans. The entire stadium was filled with hysterical cheers from Arsenal fans. Is this the atmosphere of playing against a strong team? Su Feng felt that his adrenaline levels were soaring. Chapter 193. Mutual Offense and Defense, a battle between Mars and the Earth. Under the hysterical shouts of the Arsenal fans at the scene, the game officially kicked off. Have to say the strength of the Liverpool team is obviously more terrifying than the Premier League teams Arsenal have encountered before. After the game starts, Liverpool, playing away from home, took the lead and began to launch a fierce attack towards Arsenal's goal. Success is mainly about turning against customers. The 5th minute of the game, Liverpool got an excellent offensive opportunity in the midfield. After Henderson received the football, he acted quite calmly under the interference of 2 Arsenal players. The dead midfielder and Kirkland, after quickly spiking the ball with his right foot, he immediately sent a key-through ball between the Lightning and Flint. The football quickly appeared at Coutinho's feet as Liverpool's number 10 player. There is no doubt about Coutinho's personal ability. When he receives the football, he can divide 3 by 5 and divide it by 2. He continued to use his right foot to force changes, and in just 3 seconds, he passed several people and finally got an excellent shooting opportunity at the top of the penalty area. Coutinho's powerful volley was powerful and heavy. In an instant, the football flew into the goal like a cannonball. Fortunately, Arsenal goalkeeper Sek was quite focused. After jumping up, he forced himself to use his right hand to complete the save in the air. World-class save. Sek successfully defused Liverpool's attack with a wonderful save. Zanjun finished his words the next second. Sex suddenly threw the football in his hand to Ramsey in midfield. This is Arsenal's chance to counter-attack. Courtside Liverpool head coach Klopp also guessed Arsenal's tactics early. He quickly roared at the Liverpool players on the field, "Help defend. Help defend, don't let Ramsey get the chance to pass the ball." After giving the order in an instant, many Liverpool players rushed in front of Ramsey, but Ramsey still needs to be faster with a long diagonal pass. The football crossed the half-court and quickly landed at the feet of Feng in the front court, and once Feng received the football, the entire Arsenal fans in the stands at the Emirates Stadium couldn't help but get excited. They began to cheer Feng's name crazily, looking forward to Feng's performance, and Feng did not disappoint the Arsenal fans at the scene. After receiving the football, Feng did not have any carelessness and immediately went full fire with the ball. The football rushed towards Liverpool's penalty area. Of course, Liverpool's defensive players are not average either at this critical moment. Two Liverpool centre-backs, Klavan and Lovren, also stepped forward decisively. Have to say the attack of these two defenders is still very crucial. The first time he appeared on Feng's path, Feng understood both Liverpool centre-backs are very physically capable defenders. It is indeed difficult for Feng to break through the interference of these two defenders in a short period of time. After thinking for a second, Feng decided to shoot directly. After quickly moving the ball with his right foot, the next second, Feng did not have any nonsense with the Liverpool defenders. He made a prompt decision and shot directly. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. Between the lightning and flint, the football quickly flew towards the goal, but Liverpool goalkeeper Mignolet is not a vegetarian either. The latter made a keen save and successfully blocked Feng's long shot with his right hand. The score is still 0-0, but during this period, both Liverpool and Arsenal players began to show their talents on the offensive end inside the live broadcast room of KingQ.com. After witnessing Feng's wonderful shot, the commentator Huey sighed with regret. Feng had some bad luck tonight. He almost scored a goal of Liverpool. It was indeed the case. In a battle like Mars hitting the earth, the offenses of these two teams have caused a certain amount of damage to the opponent's goal. On the barrage in the live broadcast room of KaiOKU.com, the Chinese fans were also extremely excited after seeing Feng's shot. Although Feng's shot did not result in a goal, it gave the Chinese fans hope. Feng is still strong. Even with the interference of two Liverpool central defenders, he was able to shoot. It's a little short. It seems that Feng has continued his goal-scoring feeling from the last game. That's it. Feng continues to create pressure on the opponent's goal. Victory must belong to Arsenal. After returning to the game, Arsenal players playing at home gradually began to control the rhythm of the game. After all, this is the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal's home court. When every Arsenal fan frantically shouts offensive slogans, this undoubtedly makes every Arsenal player feel a huge fighting spirit. At the same time, on Arsenal's coaching bench, head coach Arsene Wenger kept dancing on the sidelines, frantically directing his players to attack. It didn't take long. Arsenal's second wave of offense has also arrived, this time in order to gain the ball. Feng began to retreat more to the midfield to respond. This is the right choice. The 15th minute of the game, Ramsey and Kirkland, the two Arsenal midfielders, used their strength at the same time and successfully snatched the football from the feet of Liverpool's core Henderson. When Ramsey took control of football, his first choice was naturally to hand it over to Feng. However, the moment Ramsey was about to prepare to pass the ball, he discovered that Feng was not in a good position. Turned out to be Liverpool head coach Klopp also deliberately focused on defense against Feng before this game, especially when Feng completed a wonderful shot on the game. Klopp immediately asked his defensive players to keep an eye on Feng at all times and never give Feng a chance to shoot. So at this moment, there were at least 3 Arsenal players around Feng who were watching intently to interfere. Once Ramsey passes the football to Feng, he will most likely lose the ball. On the other hand, the dead man's midfielder's position happened to be in neutral. In order to win, Ramsey simply put aside his grudges with a dead midfielder and suddenly sent an overhead long pass. In a split second, the football fell at the feet of the dead midfielder. This is a good chance to score at the line of the penalty area. The dead midfielder made a quick decision and directly raised his foot to shoot. The results were brutal. The football actually flew directly into the stands. Arsenal missed a great scoring opportunity. However, 5 minutes later, Arsenal made a comeback again. And this time it was Feng. Chapter 194. Feng's iconic volley shot, take the lead. This is an Arsenal wing attack. After Ramsey controlled the ball in midfield, when he discovered that the positions of Feng and Deadman's midfielder in the front court were relatively average, he simply chose to give the football to Sanchez on the wing. As everyone knows, last season, Sanchez was the biggest player in Arsenal's lineup. However, In the past few games since the start of this season, Sanchez's condition has been relatively average and he has not been able to help the team, but no matter what, Sanchez still has some personal abilities as a player, especially when Sanchez comes to the wing. Both his breakthrough ability and passing skills can be amplified at this critical moment. Sanchez did not choose to pass the ball, but chose to do it alone. At this moment, Liverpool sent defensive players Lallana and Merino, undeniable. These two players are both powerful players. Facing Sanchez's breakthrough, these two players also worked hard and decisively engaged in physical confrontation, trying to use physical strength to end Sanchez's breakthrough. Unfortunately, the two Liverpool defenders still underestimated Sanchez's strength. The latter pedaled his bicycle, suddenly accelerated, and then subconsciously stopped suddenly. At this time there was a gap in Liverpool's defense, but it was also difficult for Sanchez to completely get rid of these two players at this critical moment. Feng had already rushed into the opponent's penalty area. Sanchez relied on his excellent awareness of the overall situation and also keenly discovered Feng's movements. After this little month of training, Sanchez and Feng gradually developed a certain tacit understanding. Then, at this critical moment, Sanchez did not continue to make breakthroughs, but flicked his right ankle and simply completed the cross. Bang! In an instant, the football passed by Lallana and Merino at lightning speed. 1 second later the football landed perfectly in front of Feng in the penalty area. As a top star in the 5 major leagues, Sanchez's passing ability is also amazing. The football drew a beautiful arc in Liverpool's penalty area, and then, it landed in front of Feng extremely accurately. This time, Sanchez almost fed the cake to Feng's mouth. At this critical moment Feng also reacted quickly. You must know that at this time, Feng was surrounded by Liverpool centre-back Klavan, who was interfering in order to be able to get the chance to shoot first. Feng shot decisively against the football, another volley shot. Feng's iconic shooting style. Liverpool centre-back was still a step too late at this moment. In an instant, the football flew perfectly into the dead centre of the goal. Liverpool goalkeeper Mignolet's save looked gorgeous, but it didn't touch the ball at this moment. Mignolet could only watch the football fly into the goal he was guarding. 1-0. Read more novels by visiting our website. Night Novels. Arsenal, playing at home, scored first in a split second. The entire Emirates Stadium stands were in chaos. Arsenal's die-hard fans waved their arms crazily and shouted Feng's name hysterically. The emotions of Arsenal fans have naturally reached their peak. Undeniable, this goal is really important for Arsenal. Wind. 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 At this moment, Arsenal fans saw the dawn of victory. At the same time, the victory of this game was at this moment, the balance began to tip quietly towards Arsenal. Inside the live broadcast room of KingQ.com, the two commentators, Hiwei and Zhang, were equally excited. Volley shot. Feng, an 18-year-old forward from China, once again used his best volley shot to successfully help Arsenal gain the lead at home. This shot can be said to be powerful and heavy. Of course, Sanchez's passing is also quite beautiful. Once Sanchez and Feng join forces, Arsenal's offensive line will be almost invincible. Hiwei continued. Of course, Liverpool are not easy to take lightly. When Arsenal, after taking the lead, Liverpool, who are playing away from home, will naturally attack aggressively, and the game will be fun to watch. Read the barrage in the live broadcast room. Chinese fans are celebrating the Chinese New Year. So excited, I'm telling you. Feng will definitely be able to score Liverpool's goal. This volley is so cool. As expected of Feng, this goal is so domineering. Goal scored in 4 consecutive games. The omnipotent Feng in the Bundesliga 2 is back. Victory belongs to Arsenal. Victory will definitely belong to Feng. Arsenal's coach and bench coach Wenger's mentality was finally able to relax a lot at this time. Feng's goal is crucial for Arsenal today, but Wenger's face is still quite quiet and serious. As an experienced head coach, Wenger also understands that the fact that the team is leading by 1 goal does not mean anything. After all, a super strong team like Liverpool is fully capable of equalizing. Wenger's top priority now is to think about how to maintain the lead until the end of the first half. Of course, the one who is most anxious now is Klopp. The Liverpool head coach's mentality has almost exploded. He headed straight to the sidelines and roared hysterically at his players, "Your defense is just a mess. If you don't want to play on the court, get off here, give it to me. Attack, look for opportunities to shoot, don't be a coward in the backcourt." Klopp understood that at this time, Liverpool had no way out. Want to win? Liverpool must attack. Moreover, Liverpool's players must complete the equaliser in a very short period of time in order to have the strength to compete with Arsenal. After Klopp cursed Liverpool's players also cheered up instantly. In the following period, although Liverpool's players still focused on defence, it is undeniable that every Liverpool player is looking for offensive opportunities. At the same time, Klopp also asked his disciples to focus on defence against Feng and never allow Feng to get a second chance to attack. Arsenal during this time start to focus more on control in the front court. The dead midfielder also began to push forward frequently. Wanting to get a chance, the experienced Klopp immediately discovered Arsenal's defensive gap. Chapter 195. Lost a ball. Liverpool successfully equalized the score. The game continues. However, Liverpool coach Klopp discovered that Arsenal had a defensive gap. There are actually not many people involved in Arsenal's central defense, especially Arsenal's dead-end midfielder. This player always likes to push forward. Once the dead-end midfielder penetrates forward, for the entire Arsenal defense, the team's midfield defense will form a situation of playing more with less. This is not good news. During this period, Liverpool began to consciously adjust their offensive tactics on the sidelines. Coach Klopp also yelled at the Liverpool players from time to time, asking the Liverpool players to focus on Arsenal's central position as much as possible. During this period, it has to be said that Klopp is indeed a master tactician, and he keenly discovered Arsenal's offensive loopholes ever since. In the next moment, Liverpool's players began to attack the Arsenal centre crazily. It didn't take long. Liverpool got an offensive opportunity. 28th minute of the game. This is a chance for Liverpool to counter-attack in the front court. The Deadman's attacking midfielder originally wanted to use his own personal ability to complete a breakthrough under the interference of many Liverpool players, but unfortunately, the Deadman's attacking midfielder overestimated his own strength under interference from multiple defensive players. The dead midfielder couldn't find any chance at all, and even Liverpool midfielder Henderson saw the right opportunity and made a decisive tackle, clean and neat. When Henderson grabbed the football, his first reaction was to counter-attack. Under the shouts of Liverpool coach Klopp on the sidelines, Henderson quickly found Wijnaldum in the front court, and this time after Wijnaldum received the football, he did not delay the transfer of ball possession. The next second, Wijnaldum immediately sent a through ball in the blink of an eye. Football appeared at Coutinho's feet again. The Liverpool star gave Arsenal's goal a knock at the start of the game. Naturally, the condition is quite outstanding, so when the Arsenal fans at the scene saw Coutinho receiving the football again at the top of the penalty area, they instantly became nervous. Coach Wenger also quickly called out to his midfielders for substantial interference with Coutinho, but it's a pity Arsenal's defense in the middle is too small. Although Ramsey is already in place, this player is more focused on offense, and his performance on the defensive end is actually relatively average ever since Coutinho completely ignored Ramsey's defense. After Su Wong shot with his left foot, he easily passed Ramsey. Then the next second Coutinho suddenly sent a through ball. The football quickly flew into the penalty area under the interference of the two Arsenal central defenders. Between the Lightning and Flint, football finally appeared at Firmino's feet. During this season, Firmino has already scored 3 goals. It can be seen that Firmino's shooting ability is quite sharp in the restricted area. Firmino relied on his sharp running position, coupled with a precise through ball of national team teammate Coutinho, to successfully get a solo opportunity. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. Firmino faced the attacking Arsenal goalkeeper at this critical moment. Firmino didn't feel nervous at all. He made the volley very calmly. It has to be said that Firmino's entire shot is quite fast. In a flash of lightning, the football flew into the goal from Sek's right-hand side. Sek's save was still a step too late. I can only watch helplessly as Firmino scores. When Arsenal lost the ball, Sek was also very angry. He immediately showed his hands towards Arsenal's defenders. In Sek's view, Arsenal's midfield defense made it too easy for the opponent to make a through ball this time. This is the key to Liverpool's success. Firmino was also very excited after scoring the goal. He waved his fists wildly, but soon, Firmino immediately picked up the football from inside the goal. It seemed that for Firmino, the 1-1 score was not enough. He wants to win tonight. After Firmino scored, the fans in the stands of the Emirates Stadium immediately became quiet. Every Arsenal fan has an expression of disappointment written on their face. It is undeniable that this is not the result that Arsenal fans want to see on the live broadcast room barrage. Many Chinese fans also began to complain about Arsenal's defense, isn't it? As the top team in the Premier League, Arsenal's defense is like this. My grandma can score goals. This defense is simply too bad. I really don't understand why Arsenal now will make it so easy for Coutinho to pass the ball. Wenger should retire quickly. His tactics are outdated. Why does the dead midfielder have to push forward frequently? I really don't understand. Su Feng's hard-earned goal is now good. The two teams are back on a draw. Hey, Arsenal's defense is really incredible. On the sidelines after Arsenal head coach Arsene Wenger saw Liverpool breaking his team's goal, he also began to wonder whether there was a problem with his own tactics. However, Coach Wenger is a fan of the authorities. Although he knows that there are certain problems in Arsenal's starting lineup, he has no way to detect it immediately. Fortunately, Wenger's assistant coach Bold reminded the defense and the midfield is really too weak. Although Cochrane is an authentic midfielder, Liverpool's three midfielders are all quite good. With Cochrane's current strength, it is still difficult to defend three Liverpool midfielders by himself. Although Ramsey on the other side is also an attacking midfielder, this player is more focused on offense, and the dead midfielder frequently appears in the penalty area, which leaves only one Cochrane in our midfield to defend. After hearing Boulder's explanation, Wenger immediately realized that Arsenal's defensive presence was huge hidden dangers. Then Wenger did not hesitate and made adjustments immediately. Wenger is still an experienced head coach, and it is natural to make temporary adjustments during the game, so he began to call the dead midfielder's name frequently. The dead midfielder is required to focus more on the defensive end in the next period of time, but the dead midfielder did not obey Coach Wenger's arrangements. He has his own Xiao Jiu. The dead midfielder knows very well that if he can perform well against Liverpool, his status in the team will be further improved. At the same time, there will be more say. Chapter 196. Wenger's brain is funny. Remove Su Feng. In order to drive Su Feng out of the team, the attacking midfielder must strive for excellent performance in today's game. But for now the dead midfielder is already self-defeating. In the next period of time, Arsenal began to consciously focus on the defensive end. Of course, if there is an opportunity to deal a fatal blow to Liverpool, Arsenal players will definitely show their swords. During this period, the two teams, Liverpool and Arsenal, began to struggle in the midfield in order to be able to defend well. Su Feng even frequently retreated to the middle to defend, which undoubtedly caused a certain decrease in Su Feng's physical fitness. Gradually the time came to the 40th minute of the first half. Seeing that the first half of the game is coming to an end, the Arsenal players playing at home obviously couldn't hold their breath under the hysterical shouts of the Arsenal fans at the scene. The Arsenal players decided to give their opponents a fatal blow. Soon Arsenal's midfielder finally completed the steal in the midfield through continuous running. Defensive back Kirkland grabbed the football. After this player got the football, he also didn't have any carelessness. His first choice was naturally to hand it to Su Feng in the front court. After all, Su Feng has become the core of Arsenal's offense. A moment of effort. Cochrane's long pass landed accurately at the feet of Su Feng in the stands at Emirates Stadium. Arsenal fans were instantly excited when they saw this. The fans shouted Su Feng's name one after another. At this moment, every Arsenal fan eagerly hoped that Su Feng could create a miracle, but Liverpool's defense is still quite solid. At the top of the penalty area, Su Feng successfully received Kirkland's pass with his right foot. However, at this moment, Su Feng was basically the only Arsenal offensive player in the opponent's front court. Arsenal's two wings did not provide support to Su Feng at this time. Many Liverpool defenders also attacked decisively and began to double team and defend Su Feng. When Su Feng saw this, he had almost no choice. Logically speaking, if an opponent's player encounters a double-team defense, the best choice should be to pass the ball as soon as possible. But now, there is no Arsenal player where Su Feng can see. There is no way. Su Feng had no way out. Now he can only fight hard with his opponent, and Su Feng didn't stop doing anything. He dribbled the ball towards the opponent's penalty area. Su Feng encountered Liverpool's double-team defense. Henderson, Lallana plus Liverpool's two central defenders, Lovren and Klavan. Four players interfered with Su Feng at the same time. Su Feng just wanted to rely on fake moves to get rid of the opponent's interception, but he didn't expect it. The two central defenders started a physical confrontation towards Su Feng at the same time. Don't give Su Feng any chance to make fake moves, that's all. Su Feng lost the ball. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. This was also the first time that Su Feng felt the top defense of a top team in the Premier League. In the stands, Arsenal fans were quite disappointed with Su Feng's performance, and some of the more extreme fans even booed Su Feng. Su Feng, what are you doing? Why don't you shoot immediately? Let me just say it, Asian forwards are completely unable to shoulder the heavy responsibility. Leave Arsenal after the season. Asians are not worthy of becoming Arsenal's players. Player, why didn't you shoot at such a good opportunity? I'm convinced Arsenal finally got the opportunity, but this Asian striker wasted the opportunity. Some extreme fans even began to abuse Su Feng. This was completely incomprehensible to Su Feng. However, Su Feng did not have time to explain to the fans. His main task now is still to focus on the game. In the last 5 minutes, Liverpool also formed a siege towards the Arsenal goal, but Feng had been retreating in midfield defense during this period, successfully making up for Arsenal's shortcomings in the middle, so Liverpool did not get a good shooting opportunity in the end. After 45 minutes of battle, the two sides returned to the halftime break with the score still 1-1 in the locker room. Coach Wenger decided to make personnel adjustments. Wind. You should have a good rest in the second half. Welbeck seizes the time to warm up. After you come on in the second half, retreat to the midfield. Wenger's first words when he entered the locker room was to remove Feng. In Wenger's opinion, although Feng scored in this game, he also missed an excellent shooting opportunity in the end. Moreover, during the first half of the game, Feng often went to the midfield to fill in, which also consumed a lot of Feng's physical energy. After much consideration, Coach Wenger finally let Feng off the field. To be honest, when Wenger said these words, Feng couldn't believe his ears. However, Feng did not argue with Wenger. After all, Wenger still has a high authority in Arsenal. If he had a head-on conflict with Wenger, he would most likely be in trouble. In Feng's view, the reason why the team was scored by the opponent on the defensive end was entirely because the midfield was weak. This is why Feng frequently retreated to the midfield to participate in defense. The best way is to replace the defensive midfielder and remove the dead midfielder. It is clear in the first half of the game, the presence of the dead midfielder was not enough, and he was always in a state of soy sauce. As a good friend of Feng, Ramsey also stood up decisively and asked Coach Wenger, "Boss, Feng helped Arsenal score the only goal in the first half of the game. Now if he ends the game, he will undoubtedly break his arms." After Wenger heard this, he did not have any expression on his face, but looked at Ramsey coldly and said, "Are you the coach or me? Is it the head coach?" This sentence directly blocked Ramsey. When the dead midfielder sitting in the corner of the locker room saw this scene, he couldn't help but secretly rejoice. Although he didn't perform very well in the first half of the game, he was still able to play in the second half. While his rival Feng was replaced by Welbeck, the dead midfielder thought he had achieved an all-round victory, and he couldn't help but feel proud. Soon 15 minutes later in the second half, the game changed sides and played again inside the live broadcast room of KingQ.com when the two commentators saw that Feng had been replaced by Welbeck. Their faces showed surprise. Welbeck replaced Feng. What on earth is Coach Wenger doing? He actually sent off the best player in Arsenal's lineup in the first half. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197. Stupid substitution, heavy price, this moment. Whether it is Anjun or Huey, their faces are full of disbelief. These two commentators have no idea what kind of medicine Coach Wenger is selling in his gourd. Also expressing incomprehension were the Chinese fans watching the live broadcast. The second half of the game started. The entire live broadcast room barrage was filled with question marks. No way. Feng is off the field? Who can give me a reasonable explanation? Did Wenger want to lose the game on purpose? I have been watching football for many years, and this is the first time I have seen something so incredible. Substitution. Feng is the hero of the team. Feng came off the field, and then replaced him with Welbeck. A mysterious operation. Now that Feng is gone, I have to go to bed. That's right, don't watch it anymore. On the court after the start of the second half, Arsenal's offense did not become sharper because of the removal of Feng. On the contrary, it was the opposite. After Welbeck's appearance, he was like a wire pole, always moving in the penalty area. Even if an Arsenal player passes the football to Welbeck, there is a high probability that Liverpool's defensive players will take the lead. Rescue. On the bench, Feng sat down with a look of helplessness on his face. He really couldn't compliment Welbeck's performance. All kinds of outrageous operations put Feng in no mood to watch the game on the court. When the Liverpool players saw Feng being replaced, Liverpool's offense began to become more bold. In the first half of the game, it was precisely because of the presence of Feng on Arsenal's front line that Liverpool players always needed to beware of Feng's counterattacks. But now, Feng has returned to the bench naturally. No player can stop Liverpool's offensive pace anymore. 55th minute of the game, Liverpool relied on wing attacks to successfully tear apart Arsenal's wing defense. Liverpool midfielder Wijnaldum's long pass is quite accurate, and he perfectly passes the football to Main on the wing. The latter actually didn't have many opportunities to play in the first half of the game, but at this moment after Mane received the football, he immediately fired up. He forced a breakthrough along the left wing, relying on his absolute speed advantage to pass Bellerin in an instant, and then forcibly cut inside to the line of Arsenal's penalty area. At this time, the two defensive midfielders Cochrane and Ramsey were already in place, but Mane was not timid at all. He did not stop his progress. Instead, he chose to continue dribbling the ball 3x5 divided by 2. Mane actually relied on his super explosive power to force his way out of the gap between Kirkland and Ramsey. Mane rushed into the penalty area. Once Mane entered the penalty area, the entire Arsenal defense did not dare to act rashly. After Mane made continuous changes, he forced a shot. A powerful volley shot once again broke the goal guarded by Sek. 2-1. Liverpool successfully completed the overtake, and Liverpool's offense didn't end there. After the restart, Liverpool still relied on their numerical advantage in the midfield to firmly control the rhythm of the game. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. Don't give Arsenal a chance at all. In the stadium stands when the Arsenal fans saw this, they did not complain about the players' performance, but continued to shout hysterically and cheer. In fact, Arsenal fans have double standards. At the end of the first half, Feng missed a goal opportunity due to interference from 4 defensive players, which immediately caused a large number of Arsenal fans to curse and boo. But now Arsenal was already trailing Liverpool 1-2, but instead of complaining, Arsenal fans continued to cheer for the players. This is absolutely ridiculous in the blink of an eye. The game reached the 70th minute, and during this time period Liverpool had another great opportunity in midfield. It was originally Arsenal's offensive opportunity. After the dead midfielder received the pass from his teammate, he directly chose to break through at the top of the penalty area. As a player in the number 10 position, the dead midfielder did not choose to pass to Welbeck or Sanchez. Instead, he decided to force a shot through his own personal ability. To be honest, if this time the dead midfielder can pass the football to Sanchez, who is diagonally inserted into the penalty area from the wing, not surprisingly, Arsenal had every chance to equalize the score. However, the dead midfielder, who was eager to make contributions, did not do so. After feinting with his left foot, he suddenly shot. Regrettably, the football was actually blocked by Henderson. The next second the football fell at Wijnaldum's feet. The latter immediately passed the football to Lallana in the middle. At this time, because the dead midfielder was still in the opponent's half, Arsenal's midfielder once again formed a situation of playing more with less when 2 players, Ramsey and Cochrane, appeared in front of Lallana, who was dribbling the ball at the same time. The player quickly gave the ball to Coutinho on the left. After the latter changed continuously, he faced Bellerin's defense and completed another shot. The football drew a meteor in Arsenal's penalty area. In an instant, the football hit the dead center of the goal. Even if Sek has 3 heads and 6 arms, there is no way to save Coutinho's world-beating goal. So far the score came to 3-1. Liverpool completely took the initiative in the game, and at the same time, the balance of victory was completely tilted towards Liverpool. In the last 10 minutes, although the Arsenal players did not give up the game, they were still attacking tirelessly. Even in the 87th minute of the game, Sanchez relied on his personal ability on the wing to move past 3 players and successfully entered the Liverpool penalty area. Inside finally completed the break, successfully chased the score to 3-2, but it was no longer possible. There is not much time left for Arsenal. After scoring the goal, Sanchez picked up the football immediately and immediately sprinted back to the half-court at a speed of 100 meters. But after the restart, Liverpool players did not take the initiative to attack, but began to frequently make unnecessary corners in the backcourt. Liverpool even pretended to have cramps from time to time in order to delay time, and just like that, the game fell apart. The suspense of the game eventually disappeared completely over time as the referee blew 3 long whistles. The game between Arsenal and Liverpool finally came to an end. Liverpool beat Arsenal 3-1 at the Emirates Stadium, successfully scored 3 points, and also handed Arsenal their first defeat in the league. After the game, every Arsenal fan looked bitter and helpless. Chapter 198. Fans are furious. Verbal and written criticism of Wenger. Liverpool got what they wanted and took 3 points at Arsenal's home court. Looking at the Liverpool players celebrating wildly on the court, Coach Wenger stood on the coaching bench with a melancholy look on his face. This was not the result he wanted to see. In Wenger's view, Arsenal's current lineup is completely capable of defeating Liverpool. However, in the second half of the game, Arsenal was almost completely overwhelmed by Liverpool. The control of the game has always been at the feet of the Liverpool players. This inevitably caused Wenger to question his own tactical philosophy to a certain extent, especially the dead midfielder. After all, in the first half of Arsenal's game, The team could still compete hard with Liverpool, and the situation was not at a disadvantage at all. However, after the start of the second half, especially after Feng came off the field, Arsenal's offensive end completely collapsed soon. Coach Wenger found out why dead man's midfielder last season. The dead midfielder once achieved double 10 figures in the Premier League, that is, he received 11 assists and 10 goals, and was in quite hot form. Arsenal was able to achieve second place in the league last season, and it was also inseparable from the great contributions made by the dead midfielder. But today is different from the past. The dead midfielder's performance in the game was a bit too arrogant. Ever since Feng came to the team, the dead midfielder has always wanted to score goals to prove that he is as good as Feng due to the overly distorted goal mentality. This also made the dead midfielder forget his own job. Passes and assists in tonight's game. The dead midfielder barely passed a ball to Feng. Instead, he kept asking Feng for the ball. When Coach Wenger thought of this, his face became a little sullen. If I had known, I should have replaced the dead midfielder in the second half. In this case, at least this game would not have been lost, Coach Wenger murmured to himself on the court. The Liverpool players were even more excited. The group came to the away fan stand area and sang the Liverpool team anthem with the Liverpool fans from afar. You'll never walk alone. It was as if at this moment, the Emirates Stadium became Anfield. Arsenal's red and white were drowned out by Liverpool's blood in the home stands. There were still quite a few fans who did not leave immediately. Instead, they yelled at Wenger crazily in the stands, "Get out of class quickly. You are no longer worthy of being the head coach of Arsenal. Wenger, get out of here. You have been in this team for a long time. We want Guardiola, not Wenger. This game is a disgrace. Wenger is old, his tactics and substitutions are a mess." Arsenal fans yelled at Wenger crazily. "You know, Wenger is said to be a meritorious head coach in the entire history of Arsenal." Although Wenger's substitution adjustments were indeed a little thoughtless in this game, don't forget that Arsenal has only lost this game since the start of the new season and won all the other 3 games. It would be a bit ridiculous to deny Wenger's contribution in the first 3 games by losing 1 game. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. Some extreme fans even started throwing mineral water bottles at Wenger, almost hitting his head. Have to say Premier League fans are really crazy. Inside the live broadcast room of Kinkyo.com commentator Hiwei also expressed regret for Arsenal's defeat. In fact, Arsenal is still very strong at the moment. In my opinion, Arsenal is fully capable of defeating Liverpool. I can only say that Feng left the field too quickly at this time. In addition, a commentator, Zanjun, also talked to Hiwei. That's true. Feng performed very well in the first half of the game. He is almost the only one in the Arsenal lineup who can pose a threat to the opponent's goal players. I really can't understand Wenger's substitutions. Welbeck was completely ineffective in the second half of the game and could not help the team at all. On the barrage in the live broadcast room, the Chinese fans were already furious. Why? Wenger, please tell me an answer. Why should we change Feng? Let me tell you, as long as Feng is dismissed, the game will definitely be lost. Feng has tried his best, but it's a pity that Wenger didn't give Feng a chance. If Feng can play the whole game, I firmly believe that the victory must belong to our Arsenal. Feng finally got his start, but he only played for half the game. Wenger's operation finally paid off. At the post-match press conference, Wenger also attracted a large number of reporters' inquiries. Coach Wenger, why did you replace Feng at halftime? You know, Feng was the only Arsenal player to score against Liverpool in the first half. Wenger had already guessed that a reporter would ask him this question, so he had already thought of the wording in his mind. However, when the reporter actually asked this question, Wenger's face was full of embarrassment. Feng's performance is indeed outstanding. The replacement of Feng was entirely due to tactical considerations. I think Welbeck and the matching of the waist should be more perfect, but unfortunately, our tactics failed. Then, Wenger continued, as the head coach of the team, I must bear all the responsibility for the team's loss. Wenger is still a man in the locker room. The Arsenal players were silent. As a professional player, no one likes to lose, and no one likes to lose a game with a direct rival for the championship. At this moment, the entire Arsenal dressing room seemed unusually quiet. The atmosphere was extremely awkward. After Wenger attended the press conference, he returned to the dressing room and smelled the dull atmosphere in the dressing room. This is just an ordinary game. This is football. No team can win. You all performed well and fought hard until the last minute. Although we lost this game, we also discovered the shortcomings of the team. I hope every player will take the following training seriously. We just lost a Premier League game. Instead of losing the championship, Wenger said and asked the players in the locker room to leave. However, Feng did not leave. Obviously, Feng wanted to communicate his inner thoughts with Coach Wenger. Although Feng is not the head coach of the team, but is an Arsenal player, he must help the team become better. Chapter 199. Talk. Wenger wakes up. Coach, I really don't understand why you chose to let me go off at halftime. I still have physical fitness, and I personally think that I can help the team score goals, and this is my first. It's your first start, but you only let me play half of the game. I really can't understand your intention. In the locker room, Feng and Wenger looked at each other. When Feng finished speaking, Wenger unconsciously adjusted his glasses frame with his right hand, and then continued. Go on. Wenger did not immediately refute Feng. Instead, he chose to continue listening. This was a bit surprising to Feng. If I can play the whole game, I believe that Arsenal can win and we can beat Liverpool, even if it is a substitution. I should not be let off. After Feng finished speaking, the entire locker room seemed extraordinarily quiet. Wenger nodded, indicating that he already understood Feng's thoughts. Then, Arsenal head coach Wenger slowly expressed his thoughts to Feng. Feng, I fought against all odds and spent €35 million to bring you from Paderborn to Arsenal. The main purpose was to take a fancy to your scoring ability. It is undeniable that you and we have scored in the first 3 games, of course, including this game against Liverpool, but, in my opinion, the forward position in the team is too crowded now. Sanchez, Welbeck, and Giroud, these players have all proven their strength in the Premier League or other 5 major leagues. They obviously have more experience in playing against strong teams, so I will let Welbeck replace you. Wenger told Feng his inner thoughts as much as possible. Obviously, Wenger still thinks highly of Feng. Otherwise, if another player were to question him, Wenger would definitely not fart. Wenger continued, so I hope that you will be a substitute in the team's position. I know how strong you are. In my opinion, being a substitute can better bring out your strength, and you are now only 18 years old. The future has unlimited possibilities, so there is no need to rush. Coach Wenger patiently enlightened Feng, but Feng had his own ideas and Feng's view. Judging from his current strength, he can definitely become the team's starter. Facts have proved that Feng's performance in tonight's game was already quite outstanding. He put huge pressure on Liverpool's defense. Feng continued, Coach, but since the beginning of the new season, I have been the player with the most goals in the forward line of the team. Whether it is against a weak team or a strong team, I can have enough strength, create pressure on the opponent's goal, so obviously, I think I am good enough to be called the team starter. Indeed, there are many players in our team whose names are louder than mine, but this does not mean anything. Football, it's for kicking, not for a fame. Feng's words were truly shocking. Coach Arsene Wenger was speechless. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. After all, what Feng said made perfect sense. It even hits Wenger's heart. After Wenger thought for a long time, he slowly asked Feng, what suggestions do you have for the team lineup? Wenger, the world-famous coach, once led Arsenal to a magical record of 49 unbeaten games. And now, he actually wanted to ask Feng what he thought of the team's lineup. So dreamy at the same time. This is enough to show that Coach Wenger attaches great importance to Feng. One dares to ask, the other dares to answer. Feng immediately gushed to Wenger and said the biggest problem for the team now is the striker. I hope that in future games, you can ensure that I am the main force. The team's offense needs to be adjusted. If the main forward is replaced, the offensive coordination in the front court will become very unfamiliar, so I hope you can establish me as the main forward. Secondly, the team needs B2B players in the midfield, both offensive and defensive. In this case, whether it is offense or defense, midfielders can always help the team. Of course, the most important point is that the midfielders and wing players have to pass the football to me. I have to have a certain ability to pass long balls. As long as the football is passed to my feet, I will have the confidence to score. It must be said that Feng's words are very domineering. Coach Wenger was stunned. There is a feeling that listening to you is better than 10 years of reading. Wenger suddenly woke up. He nodded with great appreciation, and then continued to say to Feng, it makes sense, it makes sense. I will think about what you said seriously. Don't worry, I will give you a satisfactory answer. No matter what, you will always be the hope for the future of our team. After Feng heard this, he did not continue to express his remarks. After all, Feng had already told one all his inner thoughts. As for whether Wenger can understand, that is not something Feng needs to consider. And not long after Feng left, The team's assistant coach Bold happened to make a phone call and invited Wenger to go out to eat and relax. Boulder knows Wenger relatively well. He knows that after the team loses, the team coach must be in a very depressed mood. In a small restaurant in London after Boulder and Coach Wenger had dinner, they began to talk about the team's lineup. Wenger told Boulder exactly what Feng had told him before. When Boulder heard this, his faces showed excitement. It makes sense, it makes sense. I didn't expect that Feng, a player at such a young age, could see things so clearly. Coach, this game is like a mirror, which just reflects the shortcomings of the team. Maybe we can change the formation according to Feng's suggestion. Maybe we can achieve results. After all, in our current team, there are really only a handful of forwards who can score goals. Although Feng is the least famous, but he is also the player in the best condition in the team, we need to give Feng a chance. When Wenger heard that Boulder agreed with Feng's opinion, he fell into deep confusion again. In thinking maybe, I was really wrong, or maybe, you can try Feng's opinion. At this moment, Wenger had secretly made up his mind to let Feng start in the next game in a real sense, so as to show Feng's strength as much as possible. Chapter 200. Champions League Grouping. Group with Paris Saint-Germain. The next day, on the training ground, since Arsenal lost to Liverpool at home in the last game, Coach Wenger also deliberately increased the intensity of training. In the next period of time, Arsenal will go through an intensive schedule, even a double-header a week in addition to the Premier League matches. The Champions League group stages are about to begin. After Coach Wenger had a heart-to-heart talk with Feng and assistant coach Bold, he finally decided to give Feng a chance. Therefore, during this period of training, Coach Wenger also deliberately placed Feng in the main lineup. Wenger's intentions are already very obvious. He hopes to give Feng a chance to start in the next game because Feng performed very actively in training. Many Arsenal players also admired Feng, especially captain Koscielny. Even Koscielny joined Feng and Ramsey's friendship group after training. Koscielny would also chat and laugh with Feng and Ramsey, which made the dead midfielder a little uncomfortable. He never expected that his captain would become good friends with Feng suddenly. I felt contempt for Koscielny, but Koscielny didn't care at all. After all, the Arsenal captain also doesn't have a good impression of the dead midfielder as the captain of Arsenal. Koscielny would never allow anyone to split the team, so he quickly chose his support between the dead midfielder and Feng. After the training for the day, Wenger also specifically stopped Feng. Hey, Feng, wait a minute, I have some good news for you. Feng stood there with a little excitement in his eyes. You will be the starter in the next Champions League game. This time I will not let you play half-time, but the whole game. I hope you will not betray my trust. After Coach Wenger finished speaking, Feng's eyes quickly brightened. Coach, don't worry, I promise to use my strongest strength. I won't let you down. Finally, Feng is about to make his real first start at Arsenal, and it's still in the Champions League. Arsenal's group is Group A. In addition to Arsenal, there are also Paris Saint-Germain and Basel as well as Ludogorets. It is clear Arsenal's direct competitor for first place in the group should be Paris Saint-Germain. Basel and Ludogorets are basically the backdrop. Paris Saint-Germain are in pretty good shape at the moment, and they are killing everyone in the Ligue 1 league. And there are many talented superstars in the Paris lineup. For example, Di Maria, Cavani, Verratti, etc. are all world-class players. Moreover, Paris Saint-Germain is basically the only one in Ligue 1 this season and has no solution at all. Therefore, Paris Saint-Germain's important task this season is also on the Champions League, and they look forward to hitting the Big Ears Cup. Of course, Paris Saint-Germain's first priority is to qualify as the top spot in Group A. Read more novels by visiting our website Night Novels. In addition, the Basel team may be the biggest variable in this group. Basel is also a regular in the Champions League. This team is the overlord of the Swiss Super League. They have won the Swiss Super League championship 13 times and have been able to participate in the Champions League group stage almost every season. The strength cannot be underestimated. As for Ludogorets, they are a Bulgarian team. This team has participated in the Champions League very few times. There is no doubt that this team is also the weakest in the entire Group A. If nothing unexpected happens, Ludogorets should be cannon fodder in Group A. For Arsenal, if they want to qualify as first in Group A, they need to achieve more goal difference against Ludogorets' team. It's also a big test. Arsenal's next game is the first round of the Champions League group stage. Their opponent is Paris Saint-Germain, the strongest team in the same group. September 14th, Parc Prince Stadium. The battle between Paris Saint-Germain and Arsenal is about to begin. Before the game, a large number of media reported on the game. After all, Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain are both highly topical teams. and the match between these two teams naturally has a lot to report. Arsenal visits the Parc des Princes. Can the Arsenal take all 3 points away from home, the key battle for the top spot in Group A? Arsenal challenges the strongest opponent in the Champions League group stage away from home. Arsenal is about to face its strongest opponent of the season, challenge the Ligue 1 overlord away from home. The highlight of this round of the Champions League, Arsenal vs Paris. At the press conference before the game, the head coaches of the two teams also started a war of words. As head coach of Paris Saint-Germain, Emery is full of confidence in the upcoming game. He firmly believed with the current strength of Paris Saint-Germain, it can completely defeat its opponents. Arsenal is indeed a strong team, but don't forget they lost at home to Liverpool in the Premier League at the weekend. So, Arsenal are not in good form during this period, so we have every opportunity to create miracle. The players of Paris Saint-Germain are well prepared. I believe that victory will eventually belong to Paris. We will win the game. This will be certain, and I also believe that in Prince in the stands of the Parc Stadium, our Paris fans will bring unforgettable memories to the Arsenal players. Afterwards, Coach Wenger naturally made bold words when being interviewed by reporters. Although, as Coach Emery said, Chelsea's state has been really bad during the recent period, but no matter what, every player is ready to fight to the death with their opponents. The most important is Arsène Wenger doesn't think Paris Saint-Germain is a strong team, although Paris Saint-Germain has once again shown its unsolvable existence in Ligue 1 this season. With gods killing gods and Buddhas killing Buddhas, but the competitiveness of Ligue 1 is too average. After all, the Champions League is where the strongest clubs in Europe compete. Paris Saint-Germain wants to win at home? This is definitely the funniest thing I have ever heard. It is true that Paris Saint-Germain is a strong team, but at the same time I also believe that victory will belong to Arsenal. During this period, we have been training on how to face Paris Saint-Germain. I believe that every Arsenal player is ready and we can't wait to compete with our opponents. It's a big battle. We can definitely defeat our opponent. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.